Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Showers and 16 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in FIVEaa Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit FIVEaAextra.com.
Regional pharmacies are joining SA's COVID vaccine program. The plan is to start administering the AstraZeneca shot to the over 50s within weeks at almost 100 country chemists. That's likely to pave the way for Adelaide chemists to join the rollout as well. Around a quarter of the state's adult population is now vaccinated. SA Health wants that at 80% by October. It's the end of an era today at the iconic West End Brewery. The taps will turn off after 162 years. The beer will continue to be made in the eastern states and shipped back to SA. The Theberton site will be decommissioned and sold. Premier Stephen Marshall says it's a prime piece of land for redevelopment.
In the past it's been industrial. I think that there are great opportunities for that site in terms of other commercial, maybe even some residential developments.
An Adelaide school is the latest victim of the COVID pandemic. Eynesbury Senior College will close its doors at the end of 2021 amid financial struggles from a lack of international students. 149 students and 31 staff will need to relocate. Business groups say a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to wage increases is doing more harm than good. The Fair Work Commission has decided to lift the minimum wage to $20.33 an hour. It takes the new rate to $772 a week from the start of next month. But Jenny Lambert from the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry says not everyone can afford the increase.
If you're a bookstore in Melbourne or if you're an international tourism business up in northern Queensland, you wouldn't be saying that you're doing well at the moment. And so one-size-fits-all minimum wage decisions will always hurt those that are struggling the most.
A new Premier could give Victoria the confidence to rebuild after COVID, according to one of Daniel Andrews' predecessors. Mr Andrews is facing pressure to stand down from the role after 6 years at the helm. He's on medical leave at the moment, recovering from a broken back. Jeff Kennett says it's time he made way for the next generation of leadership.
I think there comes a time when you've got to draw a line in the sand and actually look towards a new presentation in order to give the public confidence that we're going to get out of this as soon as possible.
The much-anticipated meeting between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin happened in Geneva overnight and has been described by both presidents as constructive. Nine's Michael Genovese reports.
The two men sat face-to-face for 3 hours in Geneva in a bid to repair US-Russia relations. Joe Biden made demands around cybercrime.
I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period.
The two leaders released a joint statement promising to work together to avoid conflict and nuclear war. Vladimir Putin described a spark of trust between the two men, while Joe Biden said the meeting was strictly business.
Now to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with footy, and it is selection night for round 14 with much interest in what Port Adelaide will do for its match against Gold Coast. Now, the Crows have the bye this weekend, but everyone in the AFL world is waiting to see what happens when Dave McKay fronts the tribunal for a collision with St Kilda's Hunter Clark. Justice Hooney has shown why he's been touted as the next big thing in Australian boxing, recording a 10th round knockout win over former NRL star Paul Gallen. The Olympic boxer looked in control for the entire fight before unleashing a flurry of knockout blows to retain his heavyweight title. Gallen lost no admirers in a gutsy performance and has told Main Event he's disappointed he couldn't force the result to a decision.
By around the 6th, 7th round, I wasn't going to win it. I just wanted to finish it. And while he knocked me down fair and square, I thought the referee maybe stopped it early, but I was never going to win the fight. But I would like to finish it. I think he broke me rib in about the 2nd round, and I just couldn't get off.
Dave Warner, Steve Smith, Pat Cummins and Glenn Maxwell have all withdrawn from Australia's upcoming whiteball tours of the West Indies and Bangladesh. In some swimming, Emma McKeown has finished just clear of Kate Campbell in the 100-metre freestyle at the Olympic swim trials here in Adelaide. And in the Euros overnight, Russia's beaten Finland 1-0, Wales beat Turkey 2-0, and there's about 20 minutes to play in the late game where Italy leads Switzerland 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers for your Thursday, 16. Showers tomorrow, 15. Saturday, partly cloudy, 16. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, we're going to have a bit of fun. Macca's 50th birthday tomorrow. We've got a challenge for you after 6:30. Also ahead, Matt Abraham after 7:30. Serious divisions in the South Australian Liberal Party. Is it fair to expel a whole bunch of Pentecostal members in the manner that they have done so? We'll talk to Matt Abraham about that. The Vinnie CEO sleep out couldn't have picked a cooler night to take place. We'll speak with the CEO. Julie Bishop has now been reimagined as a Barbie doll. We'll speak with the former Foreign Minister after 8:30. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning.
I didn't mean that in some sort of pejorative sense, quite literally. I mean it literally.
There is a Julie Bishop-themed Barbie doll. It's on page 5 of the Tiser, and it's got the little red shoes that she clearly didn't see four corners the other night, and the little blue dress, and a little swishy handbag. Looks like one of those, help me out, female listeners. What are they called? Is it glow mesh?
Oh, no, I'm really out of my comfort zone on this one.
I'd ask Luce, but Lucy's far too young.
She's shaking her head. She looks confused.
It's like my grandma had glow mesh handbags. I think it's called glow mesh.
Oh, someone will know. 8223000.
It's like shimmery little metal clasps that are all held together.
Right.
But they're very small and they're set against a fabric background. It feels really nice in your hands, glow mesh. If it is indeed called glow mesh.
Anyway. Well, if it's not, something should be called glow mesh.
Only one more sleep till the 50 cents Big Mac arrives.
You're looking forward to this, aren't you? In fact, you came in without unsolicited, not knowing we've got something prepared for our listeners at 6:30 today. That you're already counting down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have a bit of a ritual after Auskick on Fridays. A bit of a treat for the boys. We get little 3 nuggets, some apple pieces, and a sundae with ice cream for them. That's their little snack, and I reckon that's a good snack.
Oh, look, yeah,
the AMA might disagree, but I think that's fine for a kid who's just spent the entire day running around at school and then an hour running around at Auskick.
I remember the end of every sports season at school, you'd always go to a Macca's or a Hungry Jack. There'd be like the get-together, the party at the end of the season. But they've banned all that now.
Well, they haven't quite banned it.
Well, it's frowned upon. Should all get together and have a banana or something.
Yeah, and have a water drinking competition. Well, I don't know. Can you overdo it on the water?
Well, yeah. Don't ever drink water to excess.
What about Cristiano Ronaldo? Did you see that press conference the other day?
Where he moved the Coke bottle.
He not only moved the Coke bottle, he moved Coke's company's value briefly by $5 billion. $5 billion. For those of you who didn't see it, it was a press conference after Portugal played. Who did they play? Hungary, I think. Well, they blitzed them 3-0 right at the death. And even though Coke are a major sponsor of the tournament, they had these 2 Coke bottles there, and he just said, "Drink water." He said it in Portuguese. But isn't that amazing, the extent to which an individual can change?
There's a lot of that goes on these days, and I don't know how to get my head around it, because obviously the value of so much of the value of companies is clearly speculative. It's not as though Coke suddenly, in that instant, started selling fewer Cokes.
The thing that annoys me, though, Will, is I often say things like, "I like Coke."
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem to do anything to the Coke share price.
Yeah, but maybe
what's Cristiano Ronaldo got that I haven't got?
Maybe your subtle endorsements lead to a more longer term, a sustainable trend of growth for Coke, as opposed to spikes either way.
Well, that's what they call sort of advocacy marketing, isn't it? Where you want just ordinary people out there.
That's right.
Makes me pretty ordinary.
So this has happened a bit with cryptocurrencies. Elon Musk has done this a little bit with Bitcoin, where it seems he'll say, "Oh, well, Tesla, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore," and the price will plunge. And then he'll say, "Oh no, we're doing it again," or "No, that was a mistake." and the price will go up. And it feels as though the markets are so manipulable by small numbers of very well-known people these days.
Yeah.
Especially things as volatile as cryptocurrencies. But you get it on the share market as well, where people make outlandish statements and say, well, there's no way this can work. And I don't know what obligation you have, probably none, from that point then not to dip into the market. If you knew in a single tweet you could plunge the price of something 5, 10, 15%, what stops you from doing that and then buying in? And then saying, oh, nah, Cristiano Ronaldo shoots a coke ad next week.
Yeah.
There's just something flimsy about financial markets and suddenly in a world now where everyone's connected and everyone reacts to, well, a tweet got 15 million likes. What does that mean?
Well, I think it means that people are gullible.
I just think it means
like
the whole
idea
thing is
that you drink water more because Cristiano Ronaldo said so.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that Cristiano Ronaldo documentary?
No, I didn't. I'm not that.
Jeez.
I'm not that enamoured with
I think
Cristiano Ronaldo.
his son's almost more intelligent than him, and he's 5 years old. The guy's just he's a himbo.
Yeah,
a himbo.
He's found his niche, shall we say?
A male bimbo. That bloke. Very good soccer player though.
Yes, very good. 12 after 6. News headlines coming up in just a moment.
The trusty blue poly tarp. You can use it for covering ute loads, as a makeshift rain shelter, or in Joanne's case, it's her only shelter. At the age of 61, it's nearly all she's got left. Because someone stole her life savings. For every person you see sleeping on the streets, there are 13 more you don't see. So donate to the Red Shield Appeal today at salvationarmy.org.au to help the salvos leave no one in need.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. We're excited to announce our cardiovascular theatre is now open. This theatre is a direct result to provide outstanding care for the population of the western suburbs and beyond. Your safety is our priority, and we are able to offer a wide range of cardiac, diagnostic and interventional procedures. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. Call 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
Wallace Cinemas and the Wallace family have long been connected to the Adelaide Hills community, and there's another name that is just as connected, but few can pronounce it. David, Auchendoric.
Auchendoric. I reckon most Hills people could pronounce it.
Yeah.
Certainly people in the Mount Barker area, because it's been a much loved part of the community for so long. Now, for those who don't know, Auchendoric is a Scottish Gaelic name, so it's got a few more letters than we used to. But more importantly, it is also the heritage-listed mansion right besides Wallace Cinema in Mount Barker.
We should make the point, too, if you're unfamiliar with the name or the place, but you hear this and you want to look it up to book something in, AUCH is what it starts with.
Yes.
AUCH.
AUCHENDARROCH.
There you go. It was once the summer residence of the Barr Smiths, very important South Australian family, and now Auchendoric House can be yours for functions, weddings and special events.
Auchendoric House has been lovingly restored to its former glory. And look, it lends some class to any occasion. Plus you have a contemporary seasonal menu available courtesy of the Oak and Iron Tavern next door.
For a delicious meal, for functions, weddings and events in the Adelaide Hills, choose the heritage-listed Auchendoric House at Mount Barker.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Reckon you've run out of time to score a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen? Nah. If you're quick, you can still check out the range of new Volkswagens available for delivery right now at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. And remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Don't dilly-dally. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
At Coles, get 10% off selected Coles MasterCard gift cards. Coles, value the Australian way. Limit 5 gift cards per customer. While stocks last, excludes $50 Coles MasterCard gift cards. Purchase fee applies. Available in-store at Coles supermarkets only. Offer ends Tuesday.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 minutes after 6, time for news headlines on this Thursday morning. US President Joe Biden has met with his Russian counterpart for talks that lasted about 4 hours. The leaders have agreed to return their ambassadors to their posts and discussed cyber attacks and nuclear stability. Here is Vladimir Putin.
As for the overall assessment, I believe there's been no hostility. On the contrary, our meeting took place in a constructive spirit.
The thing that struck me most about that entire conversation and the reporting on it, Vladimir Putin spoke to the international media for an hour.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
I just find, why?
Yeah.
The bloke doesn't believe in freedom of they don't have a free media.
No, but I think with Putin it's all about ego.
Yeah, so he just enjoyed it.
I think the guy just gets off on it.
Yeah.
And I watched him the other day talking about where he was being really belligerent about Biden, which is funny because he completely come around after this 4-hour fireside chat. But he was saying the other day when and Biden admittedly made the provocative claim that said Putin kills people. He said, this guy kills people.
He said he has no soul.
Yeah, which is quite a sledge.
That's a powerful turn of phrase.
But then in response, Putin said, you have to remember that there's a macho Hollywood culture in America, and was just, dismissing the whole thing. But he had this real smirky sort of twinkle in his eye at the time when he was returning Biden's fire, and I thought, here's a guy who just, I reckon him and Trump were two peas in a pod. They just got off on it.
Yep.
Got off on it.
The UK PM's former right-hand man, Dominic Cummings, has published expletive-laden messages, apparently from Boris Johnson, in which the PM calls the Health Secretary hopeless. It's the latest salvo in a bit of war of words between Mr Cummings, the former PM's top aide, and Health Secretary Matt Hancock over handling of the pandemic. Here's what Matt Hancock said when he was asked about the claims.
Are you hopeless, Mr Hancock? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Are you hopeless, Mr Hancock?
Nice question from the journo.
Yeah.
Well, cut to the chase. I suppose that's what he said.
The state's COVID vaccine rollout is going regional. Over 50s living in the country will soon be able to get the jab from a local chemist. Hallelujah, are saying the chemists, and I think other people that have seen chemists, capable of actually doing this. Nearly 100 regional and remote pharmacies will start administering the AstraZeneca shot within weeks. If successful, the program will likely expand to metropolitan chemists. We were told, I remember this being one of the first things we talked about and how that rollout was going to work, and there was a million reasons why it couldn't be chemists, but apparently now it can be chemists.
Yeah, well, there's been a million reasons why it can't be all sorts of things in this shambles of a rollout.
Sydney is back on high alert after 2 people contracted COVID in the community. A man in his 60s who drives international airport cruises tested positive, as well as his household contact. They're the first local cases in New South Wales in more than 40 days. The West Australian Premier says the integrity of the state's COVID check-in app is paramount and should trump police requests for data when investigating crime. Detectives have used data from the Safe WA app twice, despite promises the information would only be used for contact tracing purposes. Here's Premier Mark McGowan.
The integrity of the app and the fact we need to make sure that people have confidence in using it no matter what has to be maintained, which is why we are legislating.
That's really stupid that the Western Australian Police did that. And look, they might have done it for noble reasons. They did it against some guy in a motorcycle gang. But I spoke to the Minister's office here yesterday and also the Commissioner's office, and the word from Grant Stevens emphatically, and it's been thus all along, according to his media guy, is that only SA Health can access this. There's no way it can be accessed by police.
But you're right, it does damage beyond the boundaries of WA. There'll be people listening right now going, of course Grant Stevens would say that.
Well,
but it feeds into that conspiracy theory.
It does, yeah.
It feeds into the idea that there's some greater desire at play, rather than, just making sure if COVID does outbreak, we know who was where and when. The final kegs come off production and the production line at the iconic West End Brewery today. It ends 162 years of brewing history. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. The South Australian business community has slammed a decision to increase the national minimum wage. The Fair Work Commission has lifted it to $20.33 an hour, takes the new rate to $772 a week from the start of next month. Here's Business SA CEO Martin Hazy.
At a time where many business people would be very much of the sentiment that we're not out of the woods yet, we would say this is pretty onerous if you're running a business and you're employing people to have a 2.5% wages increase plus a 0.5% increase in superannuation.
The timing is interesting.
Yeah.
There'll be people who haven't got jobs back right now that lost them during COVID.
Yeah.
They're the most likely to be the beneficiaries of this. Yeah, I'm interested in what the economic case would be.
Yeah, in favour of, because it is a relatively generous increase.
And no one's saying there shouldn't be an increase to the minimum wage. I don't suggest for
but just purely in percentage terms against inflation, it's significant.
Yeah, but that hasn't been increased in a long, long time.
No,
but it is an impost on business.
Yeah,
coming out of a pandemic when businesses have had to lay people off and are doing it tough.
Having said that, I looked at the headline, front page of today's Australian: low pay lift, quote, risks recovery. Have you ever seen the headline? Business groups welcome and accept minimum wage increase.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely
and you never
not.
will.
No,
and
you're right.
I sort of think, well, yeah, that it'd be nice if they had once done that in their entire history, but I can't remember it ever having happened.
Yep. China is preparing to send 3 astronauts to its new space station, marking the country's first crewed space flight in 5 years. Weather today...
Tell you what, there's a few people in Joslin who might think of a few Chinese nationals they wouldn't mind sending into orbit. Get their, 6,000 square metres of land back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're taking nominations.
Yeah, that's right.
For the flight.
Let's send the Chinese consulate into space.
Good. That would be an interesting format for a reality TV program, though. Vote to send someone to space.
I worked with a guy in Jakarta who wanted to be the first Indonesian in space.
Right.
And he wrote letters to NASA, and he became like a cause celeb in the Indonesian media. He was this crazy guy. He was like
So he's a journo?
He's a journo. He's just this mad columnist, Indonesian bloke. And he said, we need an Indonesian to walk on the moon. And he got like this huge following. He was great. And they had like mocked up red and white flags being planted there on the moon. The Indonesian flag. He was the funniest bloke. Smoked a lot of clove cigarettes.
All right, let's talk weather. 15 mils of rain possible for Thursday. Low as 6, but the max today 16 degrees. Cool and wet. It's been feeling awfully winterish this week.
Oh.
Friday, tomorrow will be 15. 5 mils of rain, so it eases off a bit, but it's cooler again. Saturday, 16, without much rain at all. Sunday will be rain-free in 16. Monday, 17. Tuesday, some showers return at 17. Then Wednesday, up to 8 mils of rain. This is a sort of a wet period as I can remember in a long, long time. 23 minutes after 6. We've got a sport with Tom Wren in a moment.
The Price Attack Big Bottle Sale is on now. Big brands, big savings. For Australia's most popular professional hair care products, shop in store and online today at Price Attack.
Australia's most affordable electric vehicle is here at New Spot Motors MG. Experience the MG ZS Eve from just $43,990 drive away. Voted 2021 Drive Car of the Year for best overall value. Don't miss your chance to get behind the wheel of Australia's most affordable electric vehicle from just $43,990 drive away. Book your MG test drive today at New Spot Motors, Hampstead Gardens and Salisbury Park. New Spot Motors for MG. MG, value since 1924. LVD 1743.
At Terry White Chemmart, we're here to help this winter. Book your flu vaccination service online today. Walk-ins available. Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry. Conditions apply. See terrywhitechemmart.com.au for details.
If you're a carer for someone struggling with mental health, which can be a struggle in itself, then who is caring for you?
Skylight Mental Health is a not-for-profit organisation and they specialise in support services for South Australians affected by or caring for someone with mental health issues.
Skylight Mental Health have partnered with Carers SA to offer multiple services for carers, including support groups, counselling and coaching.
It's really important stuff, and look, the good news is that there is no cost associated for their services. Remember, if you're a family member or a close friend and you provide regular care for a person with mental health issues, you may easily qualify for this amazing support service.
It's an important question to ask, isn't it? Because there are people that do the caring that then
Who cares for them?
Shouldering a lot of the burden.
Yeah, totally.
To find out more, visit skylight.org.au or call 8378 4100. That's skylight.org.au or call 8378 4100.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Who said video games are only for teenagers? Harvey Norman understands gaming PCs and they'll make sure your new beast has all the grunt to process those amazing visuals. The Acer Nitro 5 15-inch laptop comes with an Intel i5 processor, 8GB of RAM and a 512GB solid-state drive. But the biggest asset is the RTX 3060 graphics card from NVIDIA, giving you some of the best graphics performance on the market. Get the gaming laptop your kids will envy. The Acer Nitro Nitro 5 is a monster, but with a tiny price, just $1,298. Save $500. Also, as a bonus, receive $150 of Logitech G, Astro or Blue Mic accessories, now available at Harvey Norman.
Check out these great offers at FIVEaa.com.au. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Seniors card holders, you can enjoy 15% off store-wide at the Reject Shop until the 29th of June. That's right, 15% off all your everyday essentials for seniors card holders in all Reject Shop stores. For the cheapest prices every day, it's got to be the Reject Shop.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
26 minutes after 6. Let's talk sport. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
And morning to you, Will and David. Just a little bit of an update with regards to the Euros, a big soccer tournament happening at the moment. I know there's a lot of listeners out there interested. Italy this morning have just beaten Switzerland 3-0. So 2 wins, they're through to the next round.
Good work by the Azzurri.
They are very,
The
very...
time difference is annoying for us.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They've gone 29 matches now, I reckon, Italy. And a listener out there might correct me if I'm wrong, but I reckon 29 matches in a row unbeaten.
Which is amazing. They were in a bad way.
They were.
Going back.
Yep,
Not
missed
that,
the World Cup.
They missed the World Cup.
They
Yeah.
were such a dour, negative team for a long time too. But good to see him kicking a few goals for a change.
Yep, they're
It's
good.
Back in the takes you back to the age of Scalacci. Remember him, the little motor mechanic from Sicily?
Yeah.
He's a gun. Love that guy.
Very good result too for Wales overnight, beating Turkey. That's a bit of an upset, 2-0. And Russia, Vladimir Putin would be very happy. It might be a good time to negotiate at the summit. They won 1-0 over Finland. So good result for him. Hey, boys, I heard you talking about Ronaldo, speaking of the Euros, and what he did to Coke's share price after taking the bottles off as the sponsor.
Yeah, drink water.
Saying drink water.
Got me thinking, someone so powerful like that, what other athletes in the world would have similar kind of pull? Who are the most marketable athletes going around? And I'm talking about reach, relevance, not the best athletes, but who are the most marketable? I'll like you
Most
to
of
throw
them
me...
would be Americans, you'd think.
All right, well, give me a couple of names.
Hang on about tennis. What about tennis?
Give me a couple of names and I'll tell you if they've made the top 10.
If you think Ronaldo, you think Messi, inevitably, in the world of football.
So Nielsen's done a
Does Messi
poll.
make the top 10, though?
Yes.
I don't think he's got much influence beyond Latin America.
Do you want me to give you the top 10 list, or do you want to throw some names at me first?
But he's such a boring bloke.
He is, but he's also one of the best 2 footballers on the planet and has been for a decade. That gives you influence.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through the 10?
Yeah.
All right, top 10. Paulo Dybala, soccer, Argentina, Juventus. Mohamed Salah, soccer, Egypt, Liverpool. Number 8, Rohit Sharma, cricket, India. You think of reach. Khabib Nurmagomedov, MFC. He's Russian, I think Muslim as well, so he's got huge reach. Neymar, soccer,
Brazil.
Bianca Andreescu, this one's a bit of a weird one. Canadian tennis player, number 5. Beat Serena Williams at a US Open, and probably Canada's biggest athlete, individual sport anyway.
Never heard of her.
No, I don't know who that is, but I do know who Serena is and Coco Gauff is and Naomi Osaka is.
She's number 5. Can you believe that?
All right.
Number 4.
That's a red flag about this list for me, Rennie.
Virat Kohli, number 4. Yep. Number 3, only American on the list, Pembo, is LeBron James, number 3.
Wow.
Number 2, Cristiano Ronaldo. And number 1, Lionel Messi.
Number 1, Messi?
Number 1 in terms of marketability.
You're not happy? I dispute the list.
Now, I don't know if you saw it overnight, but Paul Pogba did something similar with the Heineken bottle. Now, he took it down. He's number 19 on the list. So keep an eye on how Heineken goes.
Did he say drink it or don't drink it?
I think he was saying don't drink it. He pulled it down. The only Australian in the top 50, who do you think?
Oh, great question. In the top 50.
It'll be a motorsport.
Think a global sport.
Is it a motorsport person?
No, it's
Ben Simmons.
Ash Barty.
Ash Barty. Wow.
48.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the reach of tennis is grand. It is you're right, a global sport.
See, the SANFL's been snubbed again on that list.
What do you think? You wanted Abe Davis to be in there, did you?
Why not? Abe Davis.
Now,
With a gun.
Tom Wren does sport. He also snuck in a little stock tip there, I think, because you're suggesting people should short Heineken now.
Yes,
Yeah.
big time. Do it now.
Okay, good.
I love Heineken.
Yeah, so do I. It's probably, yeah.
Has that affected its share price?
Yeah,
I
we'll
love
see.
Heineken.
Pogba v Penberthy. Watch the markets to see what happens.
I've never seen Messi promote anything. That's annoyed me now. And it's annoyed me in part because Will was right and I was wrong.
He
But
said no way
I'll
to
be
be in the
honest.
top 10. He was number one.
Why isn't Federer on the list? He does all that.
Yeah, I
That's
think
for watches and things
I'm
like that.
stunned Federer's not on the list.
Or
Half
Nadal.
those people-
I think it's a bad
Big-
list.
Big Canadian person. No one's ever
Bad
heard
list.
of
Bad list. Save up to no knock on you, Rennie.
That's okay.
It was well delivered.
Yeah,
brilliant.
just poorly researched.
it. It's not your fault.
No, I mean, did it Nielsen or someone?
Nielsen, yeah. What do they know?
And where exactly?
You're really stealing Andy's mantle as the purveyor of annoying lists.
We've got an Andy's list coming up later. Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
Business SA has labelled a decision to increase the minimum wage as disappointing given the uncertainties associated with our economic recovery. The Fair Work Commission will increase the wage by 2.5% to $20.33 an hour from next month. Martin Hazy says it's a lose-lose for businesses and consumers.
When there is an increase in costs for a business, who ultimately pay? Well, often it's the consumer, because businesses have to pass on those costs on, and they'll be passing it on to the consumers. So I'm really not sure if anybody wins.
More COVID vaccination sites are coming online in SA. It's hoped the AstraZeneca shot will be available to the over 50s via regional and remote pharmacies within weeks. That could then be extended to chemists in the metro area. SA Health wants 80% of the adult population inoculated by October. Eynesbury Senior College will shut its doors at the end of the year. School chairman Stephen Spencer says it's a result of the pandemic and international border closures.
It's a very sad day for Eynesbury Senior College, a very difficult decision. Our school is a small school. It relies on international students to be viable. COVID-19 has just closed that market to us.
The school's 149 students and 31 staff will relocate. The US President has told his Russian counterpart there needs to be some basic rules of the road which they can both abide by. Joe Biden has met Vladimir Putin for the first time in Geneva amid high tensions between the two countries. Mr. Biden says it was a good opportunity to clear the air and discuss a range of issues.
Told President Putin my agenda is not against Russia or anyone else. It's for the American people. It's not about just going after Russia when they violate human rights. It's about who we are.
Prince Edward's wife, Sophie, has opened up about the effect Prince Philip's death is having on the royal family. Nine's Carrie-Anne Greenbank reports.
The Countess of Wessex appeared to be on the brink of tears as she spoke about Prince Philip's death in a really rare display of emotion for the royal family. She'd been talking about the moment she took a beautifully candid photo of the Queen and Prince Philip in the Scottish hillside when she paused and had to gather herself. Sophie also talking about how the grieving process has felt like it's been extended by the pandemic, something a lot of families here in the UK will be able to relate to.
Thousands of people across the country will swap their warm bed at home for a piece of cardboard tonight as they take part in the annual Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out, including 5AA's Katie Bridges. The annual event raises awareness and money for the fight against homelessness. Vinnie's Chief Executive, Jack de Groot, says we need to look at providing more affordable housing.
Housing prices have gone up. It's even worse for those who wish to rent. There's less than 1% of the available housing someone on a lower income could afford. So we have a desperate crisis here in New South Wales where support of the CEO Sleep Out can make a real difference.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
Big day for the Crows, Tom Wren.
It certainly is, isn't it, Mel? And for the league generally, I think. And that's because after days of intense debate, Dave McKay will finally front the AFL Tribunal tonight as he waits to hear whether he faces suspension for a collision with St Kilda's Hunter Clark. The teams for the rest of round 14 will be released tonight, just the 5 games for the round, including Port Adelaide up against Gold Coast. To tennis now. Grass court tournaments are in full swing in Europe with Aussie Alex de Minaur scoring another win. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports from London.
De Minaur swept into the quarters in London, where he's playing the event for the first time. He defeated his close friend John Millman 6-1, 6-3. De Minaur said that his game has adapted well to the grass, but there's still aspects he's working on. Meanwhile, in Halle, Jordan Thompson has lost to Andrei Rublev 6-4, 6-4, and Felix Auger-Aliassime has upset Roger Federer in what was their first meeting, 4-6, 6-3, 6-2.
Adelaide 36er Josh Giddey has been rewarded for his outstanding season, taking out Rookie of the Year, while Perth Wildcat Bryce Cotton has taken out this season's MVP award. It's the third time he's won the gong, but he'll miss the grand final series, which begins tomorrow night against Melbourne United because of a leg injury. At the Euros, Italy has all but assured progression into the knockout stages after a comprehensive 3-0 win against Switzerland. Two matches were on earlier, Russia recording a 1-0 win against Finland, while Wales upset Turkey 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Heading for a top of just 16 today and showers. Showers tomorrow 15, Saturday partly cloudy 16. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 to 7, we're off to the US before 7 o'clock. After 7, we'll take you through some of the big stories overnight, including that meeting between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin, increase in shark sightings in South Australia, and we'll talk about a concerning Productivity Commission report that says the 2010s, the toughest decade in 60 years. We'll talk more about that. That's coming up after 7. Speaking of looking back, McDonald's will cut the price of a Big Mac to just 50 cents tomorrow to celebrate 50 years of operation in Australia.
Excellent.
I know you're excited. You came in talking about it before you even knew we were going to talk about it on air, which was remarkable.
The Big Mac is in my top 3 burgers.
It's in your top 3 burgers?
Yeah.
Well, don't hold keep us in suspense. What are the other 2 burgers?
Well, I know. It'll take too
long.
long.
Okay, you hold off. All right. What we thought we'd do, and because we've got this wonderful giveaway today, thanks to our great friends at Gaucho's. You think meat, you think burgers. Try Gaucho's at home with chimichurri sauce for steaks and Diablo sauce for seafood lovers, all at Foodland. We've got this to give away. Can you meet the Macca's challenge of yesteryear?
If you can say 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun in 4 seconds, you can win a free cup of Coke. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
They had 4 seconds to say all that. We've got a challenge for you this morning. We actually went to Stephen Rowe first and said, Rowie, in the office yesterday, do you remember the Macca's challenge?
He would have got it right.
Off the top of his head.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Unfortunately, did it in 4.24 seconds.
Oh, come on.
No. Them's the rules as decided by Ronald himself.
Will, the ex-German judge. Well, no, I suppose you're right. It is Ronald.
Ronald, listen, you don't make a billion-dollar burger empire by breaking the rules, or maybe you do. In fact, that may be how it started. So anyway, we've got our own version, our own 5AA version for you to win the Gaucho's meat pack this morning. You need to be able to say this in under 4 seconds.
David, Will, Rowie, Blakey, Mel, Tom, Andy, Lucy on a sesame seed bun.
And there you go. Lucy managed to say it in 3 seconds, 3.72 seconds.
What were all the names?
David, Will, Rowie, Blakey, Mel, Tom, Andy, Lucy on a sesame seed bun.
So it's the whole breakfast team on a bun. Not sure why we're on a bun. Best not to ask questions sometimes about these things. That's where we're at.
What about this? Here's some fun facts. Guess how many birthday parties have been held at McDonald's since it started here 50 years ago?
That'd be 1.17 million.
700,000.
Okay.
Guess how many cheeseburgers McDonald's has sold in Australia over 50 years?
25 million.
1.9 billion.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't eat that many. Then, how many Big Macs? Bearing in mind the cheeseburger's smaller than the Big Mac. Some people buy it as a side.
Right.
With other,
okay.
with other
So you're
things.
saying there's less?
No.
I don't know, about 100,000.
1.1 billion.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's a lot of burgers, a lot of consumption.
What are you laughing about?
No. Just my terrible guesses. 8223 or text. You can't text us. You need to say this in under 4 seconds, and you get the wonderful Gaucho's meat pack.
David, Will, Rowie, Blakey, Mel, Tom, Andy, Lucy on a sesame seed bun.
8223 is the number. Gaucho's at home chimichurri and Diablo sauces made by Spring Gully and in your nearest Foodland. That's what you're playing for. 8223 is the number.
I think the most important statistic about Macca's, guess how many Australians they employ? This is the key statistic when it comes to the McDonald's story in Australia.
18,000.
107,000.
Wow.
And of that, so 1/10 of a million, 107,000 people in Australia have jobs with McDonald's. Now, you think about how many of them people under the age of 20 who for the first time get a really clear sense, because the thing that makes Macca's the company that it is if you walk into a store in Singapore, Mexico City or Edwardstown, you get pretty much exactly the same. I mean, there's different regional and cultural variations. I know that in Indonesia they have big emphasis on halal food for the huge Muslim population there, 80-90% Muslim in Indonesia. They have a lot more fried chicken and things like that. They serve chili sauce with everything. But generally, you get a Big Mac anywhere in the world. So the discipline that requires and the supply chain, the processes, the timing, they're important things to learn that have applications for other jobs. And for so many people in Australia, it'd be good to hear from some of, I reckon heaps of our listeners will say, my first job was working at McDonald's.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to look up some of the other biggest employers. It's not particularly surprising that the other two, you're looking at things like Wesfarmers and Woolworths.
Yeah.
Tend to be the biggest, to the tune of over 200,000 employees each.
And they weren't laying anyone off last year, were they?
No, they were doing magnificent trade. Roy in Port Wakefield's called in. Morning, Ray.
Good morning, fellas. Ready for a sesame seed bun challenge?
Okay. Do you want to hear the Lucy version again, or are you ready to go?
Oh, give us a bit of Lucy's voice. I love it in the morning.
All right. Thank you very much.
David, Will, Rowie, Blakey, Mel, Tom, Andy, Lucy on a sesame seed bun.
You've made Lucy's
All
day.
right,
Can you
fellas,
make your day?
All right, fellas. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. You're going to count me in?
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
David, Will, Rowie, Tom, Lucy, Mel, Blakey on a sesame seed bun. Got it!
Ray, that was remarkable, because even, I think, with the stumble, I think you got there.
They were all there?
Well, fellas, I'm not good at much, but God, I'm good at talking.
You get a job here, mate. Well done, Ray.
It's going, fellas, if it's going.
Right.
Did he have all of them? Did he have all of them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Andy feels as though he's been left out.
Andy?
Yeah.
Andy was there.
Yeah, Andy was definitely there. The problem is he gets us a bit, Andy. So, you can answer to him, Ray, but as far as we're concerned, you managed to get the Gauchos at home.
We're counting it, Ray.
Meat pack that's available at Foodlands. This is a great pack. Gauchos meat, one at home chimichurri sauce for meat lovers and one at home Diablo sauce for seafood lovers as well. Big thanks to them. And big apologies to Andy. It was a real winners and losers segment out there in the producer's booth, wasn't it?
It was.
All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now.
Good morning. At Andrews Farm this morning, got a multi-vehicle crash at the Northern Expressway and Curtis Road intersection. At Hove, got a burst water main there, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. And on the freeway, speeds reduced due to fog. That's between Crafers and the tunnels. Look out for roadworks today at Tonsley, South Road near Tonsley Road, both directions down to 40 k's. And speed cameras today, Main North Road, Blair Athol and Port Road at Queenstown. Come to the 40-week stock take sale and save up to 50% off store-wide. But hurry, sale is on for a limited time. 40 weeks, serious about sleep. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Thanks to RAA's free app, all South Aussies can now find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the My RAA app from your app store today. It's free, even if you're not an RAA member.
Don't wait for spring to get cleaning. This cooler weather's perfect for spending time at home decluttering. And by donating your quality clothing and homewares to Vinnie's, you can feel good about letting them go, because profits from their sale will help people doing it tough in our community. You could even say that Vinnie's are compassion converters. converters, transforming your pre-loved treasures into a hand-up for people who need it. Find out where to donate at vinnies.org.au/shops.
As a small to medium business owner, you need a vehicle fleet that is fit for purpose. The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate workhorse, built tough to handle the harshest conditions. Packed with the latest intelligent safety and driving assistance tech, the new Nissan Navara is the ideal addition to your fleet. Let your local Nissan fleet dealer tailor a vehicle solution that's right for you and your business needs. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today.
Adelaide property values are at an all-time high. Just ask the Treasurer next week. They grew by 5.9% in 2020 with really strong buyer demand. In some areas, demand is greater than supply, so vendors are regularly getting multiple offers for homes with sold prices well above expectations.
That's right. So if you want to stay on top of what is such a volatile market, you need to go with the professionals, and that's where our great friends at Toop and Toop come in. Now, Toop and Toop, they work across all suburbs, and we can tell you right now, they're working in Malvern with, and I never pronounce that right, do I? Malvern. Anyway, in that suburb, Toop and Toop are working with 5,638 buyers. I'm saying Malvern.
Oh, yeah, I'd go Malvern. Now you're in my head.
Sorry. Toop and Toop. In Burnside, we're on safer ground here, they're working with 5,811 buyers. And in Walkerville, 5,672. And they're all searching for the perfect property in these specific locations.
If you're thinking of selling or would like to know how many buyers Toop and Toop are working with in your suburb, call 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au.
Event Cinemas now open at Glenelg. The original Event Cinema experience you know and love, delivering everything you enjoy about movies. Book tickets now at eventcinemas.com.au.
When you're gone, who gets your vintage 1951 Telecaster? Who gets the jewellery handed down from your great-great-great-grandmother? Who gets the other things that were precious to you? If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, you can trust Donlan Lawyers to help protect your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 7, time to check in with SAPOL. Senior Constable Matt Brown on the line. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, we're well. What's happening out there in police land?
Well, 3 people have been arrested after a stolen car was pursued throughout the metropolitan area in the early hours of this morning. Police allege about 12:50am today, a stolen grey BMW sedan was spotted by patrols on Lavender Drive at Parafield Gardens. Now, the BMW sped off from police, who requested the police helicopter to track the vehicle from above. Now, the stolen car headed north on the wrong side of Martins Road before moving to the Northern Expressway and continued to travel throughout the northern suburbs at excessive speed before it headed towards the CBD and rammed a police car on North East Road at Walkerville near a service station. Now, the police officer driving the car wasn't injured, but the car continued on towards the western suburbs, with road spikes being deployed at South Road, Regency Park, and the BMW eventually stopped on Grand Junction Road at Angle Park. All 3 occupants were arrested, a 23-year-old Parafield Gardens man who was the driver of the vehicle, a 22-year-old Enfield man and a 19-year-old woman from Renown Park were all charged with numerous offences, including illegal use of a motor vehicle, acts to endanger life and driving dangerously to evade police. So the 2 men were refused bail to appear in court later today. The woman was bailed to appear in court at a later date. So some good work there by plenty of patrols across the city.
Absolutely. Proving yet again that invariably the people end up getting caught. So I don't know why they bung on this let's try to outrun the coppers thing, because it doesn't seem to work.
Because we have a really nice helicopter that will follow them without them ever knowing.
Yeah, that's right, exactly, which they don't have. Matt, also, you guys have also arrested a wanted man. Tell us about that.
That's right. Michael Chenoweth, who's 31 years old and was wanted for a number of matters, including an active warrant and breaching his bail conditions. He was also tracked by the police helicopter as he travelled throughout the southern suburbs in a Toyota sedan. Now, the car was abandoned at the intersection of Dawes and South Road after the tyres were successfully spiked just before 10 p.m. last night. from Chenoweth was subsequently arrested without incident and was charged with being in possession of a prohibited weapon, 2 counts of unlawful possession and numerous other offences, and did not apply for bail, and he'll appear in the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court later today.
Big night for the chopper.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Time to refuel.
That's right.
Good stuff, Matt. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SOPOL. Let's talk weather. Tom Bowick is the senior forecaster on duty at the Bureau. Morning to you, Tom.
Yeah, g'day, Dave and Will.
So, more rain on the way.
Amazing, isn't it? Must be winter. So, yeah, look, there's been a little bit sort of since 9 a.m. yesterday, depending on where you are. Probably up to about 1 millimetre on the plains, 2 to 10 millimetres for the Adelaide Hills, 12.6 at Lenswood and 11.8 at Lobethal. At the moment, there is still some isolated shower activity around the metropolitan area. It's expected to be increasing, however. There's a bit of moisture in the air at the moment. We do have a road weather alert current for the hills, probably mostly the sort of higher parts of the hills and for early this morning. Look, the showers are going to be increasing as we move into probably the later part of the morning and afternoon there, and that's as a cold front and associated cold pool of air sort of move over the metropolitan area. So even the chance of a thunderstorm sort of the late morning and afternoon period there, and you certainly notice the showers sort of starting to increase. 16 for a maximum, 15 at Elizabeth, Glenelg, Nollunga, and 14 degrees for Mount Barker. And then Friday we're in a fairly cold sort of southwest to southerly airstream following the front cold pool. That'll see some showers continuing with a maximum of 15. Looks like mostly drying up for the weekend. 16 for Saturday, and maybe a slight chance of a shower on Saturday. Monday should be a fine day, 17, as is the case for Tuesday as well. Possibly a very late shower there as the next system approaches, and then some more showers back next Wednesday. 16 degrees, guys.
Good stuff. Thank you for that, Tom. Senior forecaster Tom Bowick at the Weather Bureau. Mel gave us a call on 8223 0000 a moment ago saying there's been a multi-car crash at the Northern Expressway and Curtis Road intersection at Andrews Farm. We'll get an update in traffic over the course of the morning. But we appreciate one from you. If you're out on the road and you've seen the incident, or you're caught in what's been built up as a result of it, 8223 0000. Let us know, or on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line 0448 08 1395.
Get more time with Woolworths Direct to Boot. Shop online and Woolworths will hand-pick your order, then place your shopping directly into your boot. Select locations, T's and C's apply.
This could be more than just another ad. It could be the moment you decide to upgrade your drive. The Mazda Moment End of Financial Year sale is on now. It's your moment to drive home an exceptional vehicle at an outstanding price. Like Mazda CX-3 Neo Sport from $24,990 drive away. Or great value for ABN holders and primary producers across the Mazda BT50 Ute range. The Mazda Moment End of Financial Year sale. Visit your Mazda dealer today.
At Coles, get 10% off selected Coles MasterCard gift cards. Coles, value the Australian way. Limit 5 gift cards per customer. While stocks last, excludes $50 Coles MasterCard gift cards. Purchase fee applies. Available in-store at Coles supermarkets only. Offer ends Tuesday.
If you're wondering what it takes to win the AHA category of Best Country Dining 4 years in a row, there's only one person you need to ask, and that's the Seven Hill Hotel in the beautiful Clare Valley. Its publicans, Kate and Paul, must know what they're doing, because after they bought the iconic Clare Valley pub around 8 years ago, they have given their community the perfect place to meet, eat and have fun.
I tell you what, it's such a great pub. I love this place, particularly the underground cellar. The cellar. All cellars are underground, aren't they? The accolades followed soon after, with Seven Hill Hotel's first AHA award win in 2017, and then things started getting really silly. They won it again in 2018, 2019 and 2020.
Complete and utter domination. Check out their unique underground dining room in the cellar and choose from the finely crafted seasonal menu, which always showcases regional produce.
If you want a great country pub experience where the road less travelled leads to many great things, the Seven Hill Hotel is your best bet on Main Road, Seven Hill.
Adelaide Tools is your tax time destination. Get in quick. Their massive Milwaukee Bonus Bucks Blitz starts tomorrow. Get bonus bucks to spend store-wide when you shop the Milwaukee range. Get 50 bonus bucks when you spend $250 on Milwaukee. And up to 2,000 bonus bucks when you spend up to $10,000. Hurry into Adelaide Tools for Milwaukee bonus bucks and great deals on top brands, tools and equipment. Adelaide Tools. Trusted brands, trusted service since 1949.
FIVEaa Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to FIVEaa Facebook or search FIVEaa on YouTube. Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands from Jane T-Marts. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 7, news right around the country this morning, dominated by pictures of US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin's meeting. Ashley Mullaney for 7 News is in Geneva covering the event. Ashley, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
So a 4-hour chat between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin. It sounds like it wasn't quite a bromance, but it seemed to be a lot warmer than everyone was expecting, Ashley.
Yeah, I think we all thought that this was going to be pretty frosty, but both of these leaders said that the talks were quite constructive. I mean, we were going in from a low base. Joe Biden had called Vladimir Putin a killer not that long ago, and here they are shaking hands on the steps of Villa Lagrange in Geneva. It was a spectacular setting for this summit, wrapping up Joe Biden's big Europe trip, and this arguably being the highest stake meeting of them all. And I mean, they did come to some resolutions. They agreed that they would put ambassadors back in Washington and Moscow. That at least means that there's an open line of communication, because up until now, this relationship has been at rock bottom. There is just this deep distrust between the two countries at the moment, and Joe Biden certainly went into today's meeting with a long list of grievances to talk to Vladimir Putin about, from those cyber attacks that we saw on American companies, human rights issues, with the poisoning and jailing of Alexei Navalny, and Putin seemed somewhat upbeat in his post-summit press conference, but there were certain issues where it seemed obvious that he didn't want to be lectured by America and didn't want America meddling in his business.
I thought it was really interesting that he's when asked about human rights and in issues in Russia, he pointed to the problems the United States have had with the Black Lives Matter protests and the Capitol riots. What was the reaction from the American journalists when he started invoking those recent incidents?
I mean, this is a classic Putin tactic. When he comes under fire for something, he will immediately spin it around 180 and fire it back. And that's exactly what he did on human rights. And he likened dissidents in Russia to those that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. I mean, it didn't go down well, particularly the reference to Black Lives Matter protests. And Joe Biden himself said something to the effect of that being ridiculous, that drawing that comparison. So, but that is certainly something that we've seen Putin do in the past. But that seems one area where he was saying he didn't want to be lectured by Biden. What's it like being there, Ash? Because, the idea of being in a country other than Australia at the moment sounds completely alien to me. Are there very big limits on what you can do and how much you can move around in Geneva? Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story why I even ended up here, because there were restrictions on our team coming in from London because of the COVID variant there. So that's why we've flown in from America, but I'll need a special exemption to get back into America. So moving around the world at the moment is really challenging, but obviously very fortunate that I can do that at all. And I'm really hopeful that with the progress that's being made in America or in Europe with the vaccine rates, that Australia might hopefully be able to put politics aside and come to some common sense about reopening the borders and getting that vaccination program ticking along.
Yeah, totally.
But certainly the feeling, I could talk about that for a long time, but the feeling on the ground here in Geneva, it was extremely tense this morning. There was so much security, troops out on the water on Lake Geneva, roads shut down, closed airspace. I mean, it was just fascinating to see even Putin's convoy of cars and security behind him, and then President Biden arriving with his huge motorcade as well. There was plenty of posturing here, and optics are everything for a meeting like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great report, Ashley.
Thanks,
Lovely to
Ashley.
speak to you. Ashley Mullaney in Geneva for 7 News. It's FIVEaa News time. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
online, on DAB digital radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
3 people have been arrested after a stolen BMW was pursued through the metro area in the early hours of this morning. Senior Constable Matt Brown says it was spotted by patrols on Lavender Drive at Parafield Gardens shortly before 1 a.m.
The BMW sped off from police, who requested the police helicopter to track the vehicle from above. The stolen car headed north on the wrong side of Martins Road before moving to the Northern Expressway and continued to travel throughout the northern suburbs at excessive speed before it headed towards the CBD and rammed a police car on North East Road at Walkerville near a service station.
The police officer wasn't injured. The car headed west with road spikes deployed at Regency Park. It eventually stopped at Angle Park and all 3 occupants were arrested. A 23-year-old Parafield Gardens man, a 22-year-old Enfield man and a 19-year-old woman from Renown Park have been charged. The state's COVID vaccine rollout is going regional. Over 50s living in the country will soon be able to get the jab from a local chemist. Nearly 100 regional and remote pharmacies will start administering the AstraZeneca shot within weeks. If successful, the program will likely expand to metropolitan chemists. SA Health is aiming to have at least 80% of adults inoculated by October. Federal figures are currently sitting at a quarter of the state's adult population. It's last drinks at the West End Brewery today. The final kegs will come off the production line, bringing to an end 162 years of local brewing. A combination of declining beer sales, changing tastes and costs meant production was no longer viable. This worker says it's the end of an era.
It's been a very, very good career. If you can get a job better than this, you'll be laughing your head off, I can tell you. All the free beer we've had here over the years, I tell you what, we couldn't do any better anywhere else.
The minimum wage will rise to $20.33 an hour, but not all workers will benefit at the same time. The change comes into place from next month, but industries including hospitality and tourism have been given extra months to implement the change. Industrial Relations Minister Michaelia Cash says businesses need to comply.
You must pay in accordance with the minimum wage, the relevant award, the relevant enterprise agreement, whatever your employees are employed under. The government expects no less.
The Russian president has described his first meeting with his US counterpart as productive and says there is no hostility. Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden have agreed to return their ambassadors to their posts in a bid to lower tensions between the two countries. President Putin says further discussions are due to be held.
We agreed that we will launch consultations at the interagency level under the auspices of the US State Department and the Russian Foreign Ministry. Colleagues at the working level will decide on the makeup of these delegations.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide midfielder Zach Butters is making strong progress from his foot injury as he returns to running with the main group. Teammate Connor Rosie telling Rowie he's still got some work to do, but he's getting closer.
Yeah, it's obviously great to see. I think he did his first kicking drill at training the other day, so he's making really good progress. I think he's ahead of schedule from what the doctors said, so it'd be great to get him back before the end of the season, that's for sure.
The teams for the Power and Gold Coast will be released later tonight. Meantime, Adelaide defender Dave McKay will front the tribunal later today as he and the rest of the competition wait to learn whether he'll be suspended. That's after a collision with St Kilda's Hunter Clark. To swimming, and Emma McKeown and Kate Campbell have both qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in the 100-metre freestyle event after strong efforts at the swimming trials here in Adelaide overnight. Campbell is now into her 4th Olympics. Mitch Larkin has also qualified for the 200-metre individual medley. Australian heavyweight boxing champion Justice Hooney is turning his attention towards the Olympics after recording a 10th round stoppage win over Paul Gallen. Champion jockey Frankie Dettori has ridden his 75th career winner at Royal Ascot overnight as he guided Indy Angel to victory in the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. In the ATP event in Queens, Alex de Minaur has had a straight sets win over fellow Aussie and good friend John Millman, 6-1, 6-3. And in the Euros, Russia has beaten Finland 1-0, Italy beat Switzerland 3-0, while Wales upset Turkey 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles, now at Dave Potter.
Good morning. Got a multi-vehicle crash this morning at Andrews Farm. That's on the Northern Expressway at the Curtis Road intersection. That's inbound and causing delays. Hove got a burst water main there, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. And on the freeway, speeds reduced due to fog between Crafers and the tunnels. Roadworks at Vale Park today, gas main replacement. That's Ascot Avenue near North East Road. Speeds down to 40 k's. And speed cameras today, Marlborough Street, Fulham Gardens, Old Port Road, Royal Park, and Regency Road at Prospect. From the director of Crazy Rich Asians comes In the Heights, the feel-good movie experience you've been waiting for. Don't miss In the Heights. Advanced screenings this weekend. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers and a top of 16 today. Showers tomorrow 15. Saturday partly cloudy and 16. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
McDonald's will cut the price of a Big Mac to just 50 cents tomorrow to celebrate 50 years of operation in Australia.
Excellent.
I know you're excited. You came in talking about it before you even knew we were going to talk about it on air, which was remarkable.
The Big Mac is in my top 3 burgers.
It's in your top 3 burgers?
Yeah.
Well, don't hold keep us in suspense. What are the other 2 burgers?
Well, I know. I'll take
all
you
right,
on.
okay, you hold off. Morning, Ray.
Good morning, fellas. Ready for a sesame seed bun challenge?
David, Will, Rowie, Blakey, Mel, Tom, Andy, Lucy on a sesame seed bun.
All right, fellas. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
David, Will, Rowie, Tom, Lucy, Mel, Blakey on a sesame seed bun.
In Geneva, covering the event. Ashley, good morning to you.
Yeah, I think we all thought that this was going to be pretty frosty, but both of these leaders said that the talks were quite constructive. I mean, we were going in from a low base. Joe Biden had called Vladimir Putin a killer not that long ago, and here they are shaking hands on the steps of Villa Lagrange in Geneva.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 7. Having listened to it back now, Andy's got every right to be aggrieved.
Yeah, he does.
He was sort of a groan in the middle of the list. But anyway,
he was a grunt.
Which is, what we lovingly refer to him as.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, we've got a few calls about a host of issues in the northern suburbs traffic-wise at the moment. Paul says there's an accident at the intersection of Horrocks Highway and Sturt Highway in the Gawler Belt area. Also, call from Matt. Another crash at Curtis Road and Anglevale Road caused by the build-up from the earlier crash at Curtis Road and the Northern Expressway. So there are 3 separate incidents causing traffic disturbances in the northern suburbs this morning. That's well worth being aware of. As they clear, let us know. We really appreciate you being our eyes and ears out there. 8223 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. Interesting Productivity Commission report that is the backbone of an excellent piece in The Australian this morning. Average incomes would have been $11,500 higher last year had growth continued at its post-reform era trajectory. The Productivity Commission's found that in the wake of the worst decade for living standards growth in 60 years was the 2010s. Worst decade for living standards growth in 60 years.
Was that because of wage rises?
Yeah, there was no wage growth. Even if you even forget the pandemic doesn't factor into this at all. Growth in per capita national output and income in the 2010s were around half of the 60-year average. It's half of what it was over the previous 60 years, worse of any decade in 60 years, which has us asking a question of you this morning. In fact, we want to do something of an old-fashioned phone line poll.
I'm living in the 70s, eating big food under plastic trees. My face gets dirty just walking around. I need another pill to calm me down.
For the $100 Wohlers gift card this morning, what is the best decade in the last 60 years? It's a simple poll, and here's how it's going to work. Just call in and vote, 8223 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line, 0448 08 1395. If you call in and vote, a random caller from the winning decade will be given the Wohlers gift card. So just call in and tell us the best decade of the last 60 years. 2010's, at least by that metric, is the worst.
I reckon a lot of people, thinking about my own parents, I think a lot of people will instinctively say the 1950s. Because you had that...
50s don't count. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
They're not
2000, 2010s, no.
Why aren't they in it?
Because it's 2021 and 60 years ago is 1961.
Jeez, that makes you feel old, doesn't it? Makes me feel old. I was born in the decade that's almost... that is 60 years ago. Right at the end of it, though. That's vaguely reassuring.
So let us know, 8223 0000. We'll give away a $100 Waller's gift card. Sad news yesterday that Eynesbury Senior College is going to close its doors at the end of this year as a consequence of the international border closure. People will know the college. It's in Franklin Street.
It's got a very good academic reputation.
It certainly does. 149 students and 31 staff. They've obviously been smashed by the lack of international students. I wondered too, everyone sort of started adopting their model. They were total trailblazers. Certainly I remember when I was at school, as the high school that was all about getting you into university and teaching you to learn like that. But there's a host of the other colleges now and schools that have adopted that model, where from year 10 onwards, it's a totally different learning environment.
Well, again though, what's the hold up with international students? I think the hold up is political, and I think
completely
the state government is much more amenable to the idea than the federal government. But where's the federal approval to get this up and running again? I think that so much of the sluggishness that we're seeing on things like this, and certainly on the vaccination program, is Morrison just thinking, I'm not going to take any risks that are going to alarm people. I'm not going to show any sign of urgency or panic because I don't want to upset those hardwired people in the middle. And I admit, heaps of them listen to shows like ours who go, hey, we don't want any overseas students coming here. What's the point? Doesn't affect me. Let's not have them. Well, I can tell you, how many people worked at Eynesbury College?
31 staff.
So 31 staff lost their jobs while we're sitting around being governed by a sense of almost professional myopia aimed at appeasing the people who are quite happy for no one to enter Australia for, well, who knows how long. Who knows?
The problem with the international students issue in South Australia is that the way we conceptualise it, it'd be the equivalent right now as though there was an international disease that could only be carried on bottles of wine, right? In all seriousness, it'd be the equivalent of and us saying, well, that means we're going to have to halt wine exports and we're in no hurry to get them back started up again. We are disproportionately affected by the international student issue. It is a huge industry here in South Australia. Whether you like it or not, it absolutely is. It's massive. We've built our economy. Subsequent governments have said this is a huge thing that we do. This is this is a post-manufacturing industry. And it's ground to an absolute halt at the moment. This is a little bit concerning. Some data has come out about the number of bronze whaler sightings in SA in the first 6 months of this year. They're up dramatically, 4.6 times as many compared to 2020, the year before. There was 35 in all of 2020. There were 29, 27, 16 and 11 in all the years prior. So far, total shark sightings this year are at 138. 138.
I don't think that's disturbing at all. I think it's heartening. I think it's great that all the sharks are out there. Seriously, because it says that there's and maybe part of it is this snapper ban. It shows that we've got a robust ocean environment here in South Australia. What are the chances of getting attacked by a bronze whaler?
Well, they're 4.6 times better than they were last year.
Good answer. Although that poor kid in Western Australia, there was a bronze whaler that nibbled on him. I think, nibbled. Didn't kill him, it nibbled.
Oh, yeah, well, you can volunteer to be nibbled then if you like.
Just a flesh wound.
Should note that in the excellent advertising reporting on the story, the Flinders University professor says the sightings aren't necessarily a very scientific way of determining how many are actually out there. There are great fluctuations in that, and we shouldn't be concerned because it doesn't necessarily mean there are giant schools of sharks out there.
And they're not 3 metres offshore, are they?
I don't think so.
No.
But, I mean, overcrowding, we've seen what it's done to the suburbs.
Yes, right, exactly.
All right.
It's all this urban infill happening out at sea.
We're going to get to our poll on the greatest decade. 2010's, according to the Productivity Commission, at least according to wage growth, the worst in 60 years. We want to know what the best decade in the last 60 years is, and we'll give away that Waller's gift card shortly. Let's check traffic, thanks to Dave Potter. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now. Dave Potter.
At Andrews Farm, got a multi-vehicle crash at the Northern Expressway and Curtis Road intersection. That's inbound and causing delays. At Hove, got a burst water main, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road, and the freeway speeds reduced jets due to fog between Crafers and the tunnels. Look out for roadworks on the drive-in today. Windvale, the Golden Way near Grenfell Road, both directions down to 25 k's. There's a stop-go there too. And speed cameras, Braeside Avenue, Seacombe Heights, and Old Port Road at Royal Park. Winter sale at Good Life Health Clubs. Join today and get a $0 joining fee plus up to 4 weeks free. Limited time only. Visit goodlife.com.au. Fees, charges, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
Treasurer Rob Lucas. I often get questioned, for example, how many people have languished, ramped over the past 2 months while extra revenue sits in Treasury.
9 till 12 weekdays.
We're spending way more money than we're actually earning at the moment. We're putting it all on the credit card.
So are you saying, Treasurer, it's time now to claw it back?
We had a 2-year stimulus, but at the end of that, we're going to have to go back to spending no more than we earn.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
This is your last chance. The Porsche Taycan early bird deadline is midnight tomorrow in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your ticket stays in the draw to win the grand prize home on the Esplanade at South Brighton and $1 million cash. Just imagine how this could change your life. Time is running out. The deadline is midnight tomorrow. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au. Licence M13989.
Want to get the kids off the couch and eating more fruit? Then get them their very own Balhanna Nursery's fruit tree. They can plant, nurture and watch it grow through the year. The whole experience will teach them more about growing fruit and veg. They'll get a great sense of achievement and a boost to their health. So get into your local garden centre this weekend and look for the distinctive green bag. It's your guarantee of genuine Balhanna Nursery's quality and taste.
Lots of calls coming in at the moment for the rating the best decade. We'll crunch some poll numbers for you in a moment. Hey, experience premium Kangaroo Island luxury accommodation at Ocean View Eco Villas. These sound absolutely sensational. It's a fully hosted eco luxury accommodation nestled atop the stunning Kangaroo Island coastline known as Red Banks.
There's no bad coastline in Kangaroo Island, but I tell you what, Tim and Tasman, they have found some of the best coastline on Kangaroo Island. They're excited to offer 2 outstanding villas, each with 2 bedrooms, private en-suites and generous living space overlooking beautiful Nepean Bay.
In their short history, Ocean View Eco Villas have become a favourite destination for international visitors, but now it's available to locals choosing to holiday here. I've got to confess, when we spoke about this last time, I started Googling it.
Oh, really?
It looks sensational.
Mate, you should book in.
Yeah.
We're going over in a few weeks' time. Oh,
I'm jealous.
KI, people should go there as often as they can.
Yep.
I reckon. Like it's not a place that you go once and think, well, I've ticked that box. It's so big, there's so much to do. Anyway, back to the Ocean View Eco Villas. The off-grid eco design and build gives guests a sense of satisfaction. Then that comes with leaving a small footprint. Plus, how's this? Cliffside cocktails, 5-star dining and wildlife walks can be arranged for your stay.
Ocean View Eco Villas, Kangaroo Island, the premium luxury experience you will never forget. Book at oceanviewkangarooisland.com.au.
If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. For inspiration, visit the stunning Beechwood Homes display home in Blackwood Park.
When you think surgery, you think hospital, right? Well, Dr. Greg Keane wants you to think SportsMed.
SportsMed is the only purpose-built orthopaedic hospital in the country, with world-class nursing and theatre staff, a first-class catering team, and the latest innovations in patient treatment and care.
And your surgeons?
We're experts in all procedures for hips, knees, feet, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands.
All your treatments, all your care. One place. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your successful surgery.
Sportsmed.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 7. Phones ringing off the hook for our greatest decade poll. asking you because the Productivity Commission say the 2010's the worst decade for living standard growth in 60 years. Lots of calls and texts coming in. We're going to award the $100 Waller's gift card to a random contributor from the winning decade. To give you a bit of a sample of the decades that are being nominated, here are some calls. Lisa in Normanville, good morning.
Morning, how you going?
Good,
Good,
Lisa.
thanks, Lisa.
What's the best decade in the last 60 years?
Well, I'm thinking the 80s,
Yep.
but that's more so for music and fun for me.
Hey, Lisa, there are no wrong answers here. If you say it's the 80s, it's the 80s.
Did you get your jitterbug on, Lisa? Did you have a Choose Life T-shirt?
No, I didn't have a Choose Life T-shirt. But in Sydney, and there was lots of rock bands, so you could just go and see Midnight Oil, you could go and see Radiators, it was great fun.
Good
You're a
stuff.
bit of an indie rock goddess.
You've excited
picked for
David, Lisa.
Bit of Wham. Apologies.
Heath in Windvale, good morning.
G'day, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
Greatest decade, Heath?
I'm going with the 90s.
The 90s? Thank you. We got an 80s, we got a 90s. Alan in Wallaroo, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Going with the 60s.
60s, thank you, Alan. David in Mile End, what do you say?
80s, mate, for sure. Getting dressed up, going to the 121 Club, Bracestead, the Arkabar, where I'm sure Dave would have gone in his early years as well. and most importantly, there was none of this social media around either, so there was none of these platforms. You could just walk up to people in the dance clubs and start talking, and it was just more of a friendly vibe and get to know. And as a young person, which I was, I got to know and meet people that way.
Thank you, David.
The old-fashioned way.
Do you notice the people from the 80s all want to make a case for the 80s? I'm not sure if that's a particular 80s bent. Political activism or something. I'm not sure, but everyone else is just happy saying what they think. Rosie in Gillis Plains, good morning.
Good morning. I say the 60s.
Good on you, Rosie. It's another one for the 60s. Tony in Glenside, good morning.
It's the 80s for me.
Yep, another one. Here we go.
It started off with a recession we had to have, which was bad, but Keating and Hawke introduced compulsory super, which has altered the lives of many people for the future.
Good stuff, Tony. 3 for 3 on 80s people advocating for the 80s. Mark in Happy Valley, good morning.
80s again, gentlemen. 80s
Wow,
again.
real massive vote for the 80s coming in. I'm not sure what the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line is doing at the moment.
The text line's skewing to the 70s. Carol saying great music, everyone had a job. Dougie in Wollonga says, guys, the 70s were easy. Our first house only cost us $25,000. Jane in Norwood says 70s, best decade for me. Few people have said the 90s. A couple of people on the text line saying the 90s, mainly because they're Crows supporters, and that's the last time we won a premiership.
Nothing since the turn of the millennium. Currently on zero, the 2000s and the 2010s. Mind you, the 2010s up against it when even the Productivity Commission says they've sucked.
I think the 80s is one.
Well, I don't know. We've got Lucy's out there with a furrowed brow. It also looks like the floor of the tally room out there at the moment on election night. The tally room will be open until 7:30, we're being told. So we'll make an official call at 7:30. Still time for you to vote for the best decade in the last 60 years. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line 0448 08 1395. Maybe to lubricate your imagination, we have an Andy's list, the best music decade. The best music decade.
I reckon he's picking the 60s.
Here's the top 5. Number 5. So 70s is number 5.
That's 90? No, is
that 2000s? 2000s, number 4. 3.
80s all day.
Yeah. 80s.
I feel like we're at a blue light disco when I hear this song.
Number 2.
That's what's going on.
Come on.
Oh, boy.
What does this turn into a mix all of a sudden?
Was it 2000s?
That's from Andy's secret collection of everything Natalie and Bruglia
No,
ever
90s.
recorded.
That was 90s.
That was in the 90s.
Sorry.
Okay, here come the 60s. Here come the 60s.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
All right, the 60s are in number one, but are they in number one of our greatest decades poll? Find out after 7:30 and keep the votes coming in, 8223 0000, or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line 0448 08 13 95. We've got a $100 Wohlers gift card to give away for a contributor to the vote for the most popular decade. 25 after 7, let's check in on what Stephen Rowe's been up to. The all-new Kluger Hybrid has arrived at North Point Toyota. Book your test drive today. It is the North Point way.
It's arrived at my house too.
Oh, how are you going with it?
Excellent. I actually really like it.
You actually
it's a great car.
got a genuinely happy look on your face.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Another happy customer.
Very good car.
Well, that's excellent.
Very good car.
I'll tell you what, there were some unhappy customers when it came to Caro's commentary regarding the decision for a couple of St Kilda players not to make the trek to Cairns. They, for personal reasons, decided not to play. Seb Ross, the headliner, of course, is St Kilda star in the midfield. And last night, Rowie had a closer look at some of those Caro comments and had his say.
Are you surprised that two St Kilda footballers would come home, including Seb Ross, who I think his wife gave birth to twins 3 or 4 weeks ago? No suggestion there's anything wrong with the twins, but in a week they have a bye, and I think Membry's also come back. His wife is due to give birth. I'm really surprised by that. Maybe I'm a bit of a dinosaur, but if there's no complications, I was surprised that someone like Seb Ross would not just have one more week.
Well, you're trending, Caro. It did get you in trouble. Then on Footy Classified, Monday night, Caro went even harder.
Double down.
Seb Ross left to be with his wife. This despite the fact several senior leaders at the football club asked him to stay. He was emphatic.
They said they left with full support publicly.
Well, I would question that.
She's getting smashed from all and sundry. For me, it's always family first, no question. But I think Caro's right. That cost St Kilda 4 points. I think you can be disappointed as well as being understanding. And now, if I was a teammate of both those boys, knowing what we know, I'd be disappointed that they didn't help me win, but I'd also be understanding that that's their personal call.
So what she's basically saying is they've lost interest in their team. That's the crux of the carry-on is that there's a cultural problem at St Kilda where senior players are just going, look, I've got better things to do than play football for this useless club.
Well, Seb Ross took to social media to make his case last night. He said, when we were told we would be staying in Sydney longer than originally planned, I made the decision to go home and support my wife and our 3 young children with the intention and hope that I could apply for a border exemption and return in time to face Adelaide. When the team was eventually granted a flying fly-out exemption to Queensland the Thursday before the game, my chances of joining them faded. But I always knew that was the risk. Although I was torn between my club obligations and my family obligations, it was a risk I was willing to take. I knew I needed to be at home to help my wife Marnie with our 5-week-old twin boys, Vinny and Henley, and daughter Charlotte. So he's just had twins.
Yeah.
Wife by herself at home in a odd sort of Victorian scenario with lockdown, and I'm sympathetic. I'm sympathetic to him.
And you know, there's the nonsense that's governing their lives at the moment. I mean, even in Geelong this week, there's not even going to be a proper crowd. It's just absurd. He's beyond stupid.
Rowie is going to have Caro on tonight, so that is going to be absolutely fascinating. Make sure you tune in for that this evening. The all-new Kluger Hybrid has arrived at David's house and at North Point Toyota. Book your test drive today. Not at David's house. Do that at North Point. It is the North Point way.
Adelaide Tools is your tax time destination. Get in quick. Their massive Milwaukee Bonus Bucks Blitz starts tomorrow. Get bonus bucks to spend store-wide when you shop the Milwaukee range. Get 50 bonus bucks when you spend $250 on Milwaukee. And up to 2,000 bonus bucks when you spend up to $10,000. Hurry into Adelaide Tools for Milwaukee bonus bucks and great deals on top brands, tools and equipment. Adelaide Tools. Trusted brands, trusted service since 1949.
If you're building a home, the Selector Homes Display Village is a great place to start. Your ideas and imagination will flow. There's nothing else quite like it in Adelaide. Different homes for different lifestyles, all in the one location. Walk through the sanctuary. It's simply stunning, with an incredible Jarrah facade, polished concrete floors and a sensational use of space. Explore the Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Well, it's that mini jumbuck time of year. We heard about the mini jumbuck people from Jane the other day. Keep your family warm and toasty with the mini jumbuck range of woolen quilts, mattress toppers and pillows, including a new sleepwear range.
And the bit we love here at 5AA is that Mini Jumbuck is 100% South Australian, with a store in McLaren Vale and the main factory outlet in Narracourt where you can see the betting products being made. You might have been able to find $1 million unclaimed lottery ticket there.
Oh, that's right. That ticket's still kicking around, isn't it? What about that? That'd buy you a lot of Mini Jumbuck gear. Now, Mini Jumbuck, they continue to excel by partnering with local farmers. This is why these local businesses are so good. It's part of their new Limestone Coast wool program. They've been making Australia's favourite wool bedding for more than 50 years.
The Mini Jumbuck factory in Narracourt is open 7 days, so if you're in the area, make sure you call in to see this amazing South Australian product being made. It'd be very difficult to walk away empty-handed. Visit minijumbuck.com.au for more info and to place an online order for delivery to your door.
Sliding doors and windows are great until they stop sliding. Then they make this sort of sound. In most cases, the rollers just need replacing, which you can do yourself if you can find the parts. So visit rollerco.com.au, because that's what we do. Parts for just about any sliding door, patio door or window. rollerco.com.au. Parts for sliding doors and windows is what we do. Rollerco. We'll get you rolling.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
A stolen BMW has rammed a patrol car during a chase across the metro area. It was first spotted by patrols on Lavender Drive at Parafield Gardens shortly before 1. The car was followed to Walkerville. Senior Constable Matt Brown says that was where it did some damage to a police car.
But the car continued on towards the western suburbs, with road spikes being deployed at South Road, Regency Park, and the BMW eventually stopped on Grand Junction Road at Angle Park. All 3 occupants were arrested.
2 men, aged 22 and 23, and a 19-year-old woman are facing a string of charges. Regional pharmacies are joining SA's COVID vaccine program. The plan is to start administering the AstraZeneca shot to the over 50s within weeks at almost 100 country chemists. That's likely to pave the way for Adelaide chemists to join the rollout as well. Around a quarter of the state's adult population is now vaccinated. SA Health wants that at 80% by October. Most workers earning the minimum wage will get a 2.5% pay increase from next month. The Fair Work Commission has upped the rate to $20.33 an hour, or just over $772 a week. But Business SA has slammed the decision. CEO Martin Hazy says it's unsustainable, with many fearing the pandemic is far from over.
2.5% at a time like this, when many were thinking it might be 1.5%. At the same time with a 0.5% increase in superannuation. That is a fairly pronounced impost on businesses.
The last kegs will roll off the production line at the West End Brewery today. Brewing company Lion announced plans to close the facility last year after more than 160 years. Production of West End beer will be moved to other breweries in its network. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas says it's a sad day for South Australia.
The West End brand has been part of our state's identity for decades. We know that this beer has a close link with a lot of community and sporting groups, so it's a sad day for a lot of people, but none more so than the workers on site who are now going to have to find another job.
Lion says about a third of its workforce involved in sales and sponsorship roles will stay on. The US president focused on human rights and achieving a stable relationship with Russia during talks with Vladimir Putin overnight. Joe Biden and President Putin met for the first time in Geneva amid high tensions between the two nations. Mr. Biden says the leaders made good progress, but more talks are needed.
Bottom line is, I told President Putin that we need to have some basic rules of the road that we can all abide by. I also said there are areas where there's a mutual interest for us to cooperate. For our people, Russian and American people, but also for the benefit of the world and the security of the world.
A new drug has been developed which could hold the key to treating brain cancer. Nine's Lauren Howarth has more.
Currently, drugs aren't able to penetrate into the brain to reduce the size of cancer cells, but Australian researchers believe they have made a breakthrough to combat this problem. Collaborating with US scientists, they've created a tumour-targeting antibody drug which has been shown to reduce tumours in mice. Human trials are expected to start next year.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected ASCO cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
All eyes will be on the AFL tribunal tonight, Tom Wren.
Yeah, they certainly will, won't they, Mel? And that's because Crow Dave McKay will learn his fate tonight when he fronts that tribunal for a hit on St Kilda's Hunter Clark. Now, the AFL is pushing for a minimum 3-week ban, saying the McKay bump, which broke Clark's jaw, was unreasonable. Teammate Brodie Smith, though, telling Rowie McKay didn't have much alternative.
It's what you're taught from day one when you come to the footy club, is that you put your head over the footy and you go at the ball, and that's exactly what he did.
The teams for round 14 will be released tonight. To tennis, and Alex de Minaur has progressed to the quarters of a grass court tournament in London after beating one of his closest friends, John Millman, 6-1, 6-3. The 22-year-old says it's difficult facing not only a fellow Aussie, but a good friend.
It's never easy, very close to Johnny, so I want him to do as well as possible, and would have loved for him to be on the other side of the draw and go deep.
To basketball, Wildcat Bryce Cotton has won his third in leading the competition in scoring average. Cotton says it's an award he holds in high regard.
It's always an honour to receive that recognition from your peers and guys that you battle against, especially in a league as competitive as this.
Good news too for outgoing Adelaide 36er Josh Giddey, who took out Rookie of the Year. And Italy is through to the knockout stages of the Euros after an emphatic 3-0 win against Switzerland this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles. Now at Dave Potter.
Direct got a 2-car smash there. That's at the Edinburgh and Heathslip Road intersection. Andrews Farm multi-vehicle crash on the Northern Expressway and Curtis Road intersection. That's inbounds and causing delays. Also on the Northern Expressway at Manopara, got a crash there. That's near Frad's East Road. Hove burst water main this morning. Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. And on the freeway, speeds reduced due to fog. That's between Crafers and the tunnels. Bob Jane T-Mart's end of financial year monster deals. Buy 3, get 1 free and instant cash back on top tyre brands. Plus up to 20% off select wheels. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
16 and showers today, showers tomorrow 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
When people walk through the doors at Powell's, the first thing they say is wow. Not only because of the size and the selection, but also because of the team. Sam and Jamie have tasted every drop. They and their team can recommend a whiskey that's just as good as that hard-to-find Japanese one, if they don't have it, that is. Or a beautiful red that's reminiscent of that outstanding cellar door you once travelled so far to visit. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Powell's, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield. Elevate the everyday in the elegant Renault Koleos SUV. Available from just $32,990 drive away. Contact your local dealer today. Renault Koleos. Life less ordinary.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to wait. We've crunched the numbers, David. We have a result in the best decade in the last 60 years.
Drum roll, please.
Okay. In last place, with 2% of the vote, the 2000s. Actually, no, I should say, in last place with 0% of the vote, the 2010s.
Yeah, right.
Which goes to show the Productivity Commission on this is in lockstep with the public. The 90s had 10% of the vote, the 60s 20%, the 70s 33%, meaning the winner with 35% of the vote is the 80s.
All right.
And Mark from Happy Valley, who called in, was one of the passionate 80s advocates that called into the program, gets the $100 Waller's gift card this morning.
I tell you what, today's Breaking at 8 involves something that had its absolute heyday in the 80s. It's still an excellent Adelaide institution, one that is really sadly in a bit of strife. So stick around for that after 8 o'clock.
5 to 10, out of 10, every time.
Top up your toolbox with Mitre 10's Tax Time Tool Blitz catalogue. That's mighty helpful. Mitre 10, Matt Abraham in the 5AA Breakfast Studio with this morning. Matt.
Morning, Will. Good morning, David.
So, Matt, Holy War.
Oh, yes.
Holy War.
The Christians are revolting.
Yeah. This is
yes,
not
they
all
are,
the
somebody's meant to say. But yes.
Yes, they are. This has got all the hallmarks of Liberal Party factional catastrophe written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is like the good old days.
Yeah, yeah.
This does. It sort of takes you back to the Hatfield and the McCoys, a.k.a. Dean Brown versus John Olsen.
DeGaris,
Chapman's and the Evans,
Martin Cameron,
Montagues and Capulets,
Ian Evans, the Evans clan. No, it does take because it's very hard, it seems to me, for the Liberal Party in South Australia to shake that off. And Stephen Marshall, one of his great achievements, I think, as leader, is to really have given the impression that that's all gone away. And I think it largely has for most of his time as leader. But it's back. And that is because of the agenda, I think, that the Parliamentary Liberal Party, and certainly the Leader's office, the Premier's office, and the Attorney General Vicky Chapman's office has been running. And it has been a reformist agenda.
Progressive.
Yeah.
On social policy. This is abortion. This is euthanasia. This is a lot of issues that upset conservative Christians. Now, I've got to say, I am about as far as you can get away from being a born-again Christian as is humanly possible.
I'm shocked.
Having said that, for the life of me, I do not see how the party which John Howard famously described as a broad church can effectively say to 150 people who, on account of what appears to be a link to the party's hard conservative faction around federal MPs such as Alex Antic. But if these people have had their membership suspended and they're from perfectly mainstream suburban Pentecostalist churches, people who adhere to conservative social views, how is it that... Because it looks like the party has basically said, we don't want any of these people joining our show. And the argument is, well, it's because they've said that they're not going to necessarily support sitting MPs. That's the argument that Burmo, as the chief moderate, Simon Birmingham, has been running publicly.
Well, isn't it that they're signing up to get rid of sitting MPs?
Well, are they? Maybe they just want to exert their voice in the party that should provide them with a natural home. I mean, imagine saying to 150 Muslims you're not allowed to join the Liberal Party.
That point has been made, exactly. And maybe they, if they're in a branch, and we've seen this, you get the numbers in a branch, it's not hard to stack any political party's branch. But you get the numbers in a branch. You can then start saying to your MP, who you support, well, we don't think you should be backing full-term abortions to full term, for instance, or babies to full term. You can, we think you should draw the line at that. You can support other sensible parts of that bill. I'm not saying that wasn't sensible as well, but I'm just saying they could say, you could do that, but we want you to draw the line there. And we're your local branch. We're your members. And this is what we're saying to you.
See, the funny thing is, we've got a Prime Minister at the moment who is a Pentecostalist Christian. He speaks in tongues and lays on the hands and does all of that stuff, and more power to not one but two of his arms in that pursuit. If Scott Morrison joined the South Australian Liberal Party, would they kick him out?
Well, the key question here is, so because it sounds like you're at no level buy that this is about protecting incumbents.
Or is it about protecting the Liberal Party as the majority moderate wing of the Liberal Party see it?
Yeah, this is the issue.
And because it's not just 150 who they've booted out, they've sent cause to show letters to another 400 members said to be Pentecostals. Now, these aren't just, oh, look, we'd like to let us know what you think. They're asking them to sign statutory declarations, these 400 members, statutory declarations which, according to the reports, they will declare that they support the objectives of the Liberal Party, agree to be bound by the party's constitution, as supporters of the Liberal Party will support all candidates endorsed by the party, and are joining the party of their own choice and are paying their own fees. Now, they're going to sign a stat dec to that effect. Well, what are the objectives of the Liberal Party? If you're signing a statutory declaration, what are the objectives of the Liberal Party? There was nothing in the objectives of the Liberal Party at the last election which would see the Premier's office and the Attorney General's office effectively steer through right to die legislation.
One of the people who... one of the people who's most interesting in all this too, I think, is the Environment Minister, David Spears, because this story started about 2 weeks ago with an excellent exclusive in Daily by Tom Richardson. And he had audio of the Environment Minister, David Spears, who I had him as a moderate. And I think he kind of is in terms of where he lines up within the party. That is the same grouping as Stephen Marshall and so on. But he spoke, and there was Facebook audio of him speaking to one of these Pentecostal churches saying, forget about the separation between church and state. Get involved. I want you to get involved because on social policy, certainly on euthanasia, he's vehemently opposed to the euthanasia law that passed a couple of weeks ago, last week. So he's sort of within cabinet, yet is, as someone who is putatively a moderate, or certainly aligned with that group or simpatico with them, a member of the state government saying, why can't these people join? You should join. Please join. So it's not just a left-right sort of split.
And you do have the Conservative federal Liberal MPs from South Australia questioning Josh Frydenberg as acting Prime Minister in the party room about this. This isn't something that's just been contained to South Australia. I think it's been handled in a really clumsy way by the party.
I agree. I think it's stupid that they expelled them.
There are other ways. There are other ways of doing it, I would think, than booting them out, then sending notices to 400 people asking them to sign a stat dec.
It's very hostile.
I mean, can you imagine if a footy club did that? Like, say you're with the Crows, you're a Crows member, and you're unhappy with an aspect of the way the Crows is being run. So you recruit 500-600 members to the Crows, and then suddenly the Crows board says, well, wait a minute. These people are going to run in elections. They're going to, change the way we do, which is what happened in the Adelaide City Council, by the way.
So what? Speaking of the Crows, the person who's actually really interesting in all this, and he hasn't said anything yet, and he's probably pretty happy that he hasn't. But where's John Olsen on all this? Because he's the federal president of the Liberal Party, hugely influential figure in the SA Liberal Party, and someone who historically has been a massive figure in the Conservative faction. What does he think about the fact that the state director of the Liberal Party, who's a moderate, has kicked out 200-odd people, 150 people, and then put another 400 on notice that maybe as social conservatives, the Liberal Party's not a place for them?
But is it that, or is it just protecting the incumbents? So, because the logical extension of this is 400 people sign up and Stephen Marshall doesn't contest the next election. Does the party have any right to protect against that eventuality?
Well, how would they do? I think most of the pre-selections have been done anyway for the next election. But branches, candidates have to re-nominate, even sitting candidates.
But it's harder for the Libs because they always take the view that the local rank and file decide, which is why the party struggles on things like affirmative action.
Yeah,
you don't have. It's very rare that you get federal intervention, as has happened heaps of times in the Labor Party, which is much more centralist. So that is an issue.
I think the bigger danger for the Liberal Party isn't that sitting MPs are going to get rolled. We're going to get rolled. I think that the bigger danger is what will happen if you don't placate this group, because they're not just going to go away. Yeah. They're obviously going to get involved. And you see Bob Day, former Family First champion, organising members. And what he's saying is, no, don't get involved in the Liberal Party. That's a waste of time. What you need to do is get involved in seat campaigns and play the preference game. That's how you get them to the table. And you don't need a lot. You look at a seat like King with Paula Luthien up there in the northeastern suburbs. You don't need a lot. That's on a really narrow margin, that seat. Now, you're not going to need a lot of preferences going either to an independent or just leaking out to the Labor Party somehow to lose that seat if people are unhappy. It is not hard to roll a sitting MP without being a member of the Liberal Party.
No. That's right. Yeah, there are other ways to do it.
There are other, and probably a lot more effective.
That's right. Yeah,
ways of doing it. You do it at the ballot box.
There's a few famous moderates in South Australian history who made their way into Parliament through the enthusiastic invitation to close friends to join branches as well.
Absolutely.
Just in case Ian Wilson's listening.
Let's rate
Love your work, Christopher.
Let's rate some spin.
5 to 10 out of 10 every time.
Now, as you know, we've all been fascinated by the G7 and our trade deal, which sees us giving the Poms Tim Tams, and they'll give us Penguin.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel good about that trade.
I don't think it's a fair swap.
No.
But anyway, then US President Joe Biden went on to his meeting with Vladimir Putin. And this is before they met. So have a listen to this and just wonder what Putin would have made of Joe Biden if this is any indication of the way the meeting was going to go.
We could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try very much hard to. It is. And by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but let me say it this way: Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms, but they have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Okay, so on behalf of Vladimir Putin,
yeah,
I don't know. I think I have to give him 5 for trying.
How good is Putin's grasp of English? Because if it's
going to be better than that. It's going to be.
Because if it's not good, the most important person for world peace is Biden's translator. Then.
Oh, how do you translate that?
Well, because if he's tidying it up well, he might make him sound,
But the media tidies it up, don't we? Because
Totally.
what you would have seen was the message from Joe Biden is that Russia's bitten off more than it can chew.
Absolutely.
So we do the cleaning up for him and make it sound coherent.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, anyway.
But where's the 5-second news bite for the evening news from that?
That is just terrifying.
He's
Thank you, Matt.
He's working on it. Anyway.
Excellent. Top up your toolbox with Mitre 10's Tax Time Tool Blitz catalogue. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Let's check traffic, get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now. Dave Potter.
At Burton, got a 2-car smash. That's at the Edinburgh and Heaslip Road intersection. Take some care on the Northern Expressway today. Got a few collisions there around the Munopara area. That's inbound and causing delays. Burst water main this morning at Hove, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. Roadworks this morning, Paraka, Montague Road from Bridge Road to Mawson Lakes Boulevard. Both directions down to 25 k's. And speed cameras today, Brighton Road at Seacliff, Eliza Place Panorama and Marion Road at South Plimpton. At the Mazda Moment, end of financial year sale. The moment to make it yours is now. Visit your Mazda dealer to arrange a test drive today. There isn't a moment to lose. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
End of financial year now on at Optus. Trade in a selected phone to get huge credit towards the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G. Ends June 30. Terms apply. Head into an Optus store for details.
This is your last chance. The Porsche Taycan early bird deadline is midnight tomorrow in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your ticket stays in the draw to win the grand prize home on the Esplanade at South Brighton and $1 million cash. Just imagine how this could change your life. Time is running out. The deadline is midnight tomorrow. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au. Licence M139989.
What's the best sauce for your perfect steak? It's got to be Gaucho's at Home chimichurri sauce. And for seafood, it's got to be their Diablo sauce. Gaucho's mates at Spring Gully have come to the party, producing the traditional Gaucho's family recipes for steak and seafood lovers to enjoy. Pick up some from Foodland, scan the QR code and you can access Gaucho's kitchen with online demos from Gaucho's chefs. Gaucho's at Home chimichurri and Diablo sauces. Made by Spring Gully and in your nearest Foodland.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from Acer Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. Acer Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with Acer Careers. Don't send it, ace it.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Reckon you've run out of time to score a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen? Nah. If you're quick, you can still check out the range of new Volkswagens available for delivery right now at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. And remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Don't dilly-dally. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
For a limited time only, get up to a big $1,000 gift card at Harvey Norman when you buy on interest-free. That's right, up to a big $1,000 bonus gift card. Shop for furniture, bedding, electrical, technology and more. Buy on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to a big $1,000. Minimum finance $1,000, 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees, exclusions apply. Limited time only. Now at Harvey Norman. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 8. Disaster on our roads in the northern suburbs this morning. Getting all sorts of reports. We want a live look in right now. If you're in the area, sitting in your car, you've just been through it, or you've got a view of what's been taking place. Call us right now and let us know how bad it is. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. There's been a host of incidents and accidents that are causing all sorts of build-up. Some of them have cleared. Some of them are fresh. So what we want is someone right now who's in the midst of us to give us a buzz and let us know precisely what's going on. 8223 0000. First, we'll check weather. Chelsea Carey for 9 News on the line. Morning to you, Chelsea.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, there is some wet weather around at the moment, a few showers through the suburbs and the hills. There is also some fog through the hills at the moment, so a road weather alert has been issued. Police are urging drivers just to slow down and make sure you drive to the conditions. We will notice the showers picking up from around the late morning as a cold front moves through. There is also the chance of a thunderstorm with this front. We have anywhere between 6 and 15 millimetres of rain forecast across the plains, and there could be some heavy falls in the hills, up to 20 millimetres. So it will be a nice top up for the tanks. It's going to be cool though. We have a top of 16 degrees for the city today, 15 for Elizabeth and Noarlunga, and just 14 for Mount Barker. Now the showers are set to persist tomorrow, potentially another 3 to 5 millimetres. We have a top of 15 degrees, but it will likely feel much colder than that when you factor in the chilly southerly winds. Mostly drying out for your weekend. We just can't rule out a light shower on Saturday. 16, both the top for Saturday and Sunday. Little more sunshine for Monday. So a couple of wet days and then finding up for your weekend. So really quite a lovely looking forecast.
Beautiful stuff.
Good on you, Chelsea. Chelsea Carey from 9 News. It is 3 to 8 and time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And now, here's a famous world game footballer with another tip for real happiness.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, here's a famous footballer with some advice. After you hear all the words that he spoke, you might want to go and buy some shares in Coke.
Hello, I'm famous footballer with tip for real happiness. If you want to be really happy, become big football star, then you'll be able to control stock market. Drink more Coke. Stock price up now. Don't drink Coke. Stock price down now. Just drink water. Guess what? Stock price up again. You know why? Because Coca-Cola make water too. Pump spring water. Mount Franklin spring water. Share price up again. So, no conflict with sponsor. Personally, I think just beat up normal stock market fluctuation, but make better story if famous footballer move couple of bottles of Coke and stock price go down.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, that's a famous footballer with some advice that may or may not be Ronaldo. So now you better check your portfolio.
More from John Blake after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Andrea's called in with a traffic update for us. Andrea, what's it like out there?
Oh, miserable. Just miserable.
So-
So Google Maps decided it would help me avoid the prang on the Northern Connector and took me straight into Heathslip Road prang instead. So I'm thrilled. Just
Oh,
thrilled.
Heathslip Road is blocked by police at the moment, so that's still the case, is it?
Well, no, I think they may have cleared it, but for whatever reason, it's just crawling. So, you know.
So,
25 minutes I've been trying to get out of this place.
Oh, what a nightmare. So the connector's no good and then Heathslip Road's no good.
I think after Wamma Road, the connector's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to avoid that area there.
Well, good luck to you, Andrea.
I actually don't know which way I'm going now, so I might be going back home.
We'll keep you company for the next hour, Andrea.
Absolutely. Good on you. Thanks for calling us. We appreciate that. Any further information is appreciated too, because there's just a host of situations there that are having widespread flow-on effects. So if you can give us an eyewitness account of what's taking place, we really appreciate it. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line.
At Aldi, we're all about savings. But don't take our word for it. Take 15 words from someone who worked at another supermarket.
I worked at, even though I got staff discounts, Aldi's was my better option.
See? Aldi. Good, different.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
The final kegs will come off the production line at the iconic West End Brewery today. It brings to an end 162 years of brewing history. West End's Tim Moffat says it's a sad day for South Australia.
It's a sad moment for people that are winding up here. Sad moment for all South Australians. Obviously a very important site for many, many reasons. Going to continue to be able to get these beers in the future. They're still going to taste exactly the same that they have in the past.
There's been a lengthy police chase by road and air involving a stolen BMW in the early hours of this morning. It was tracked from Parafield Gardens to Walkerville, where it rammed a patrol car. The chase then headed west with road spikes deployed at Regency Gardens. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the car eventually stopped at Angle Park and 3 arrests were made.
A 23-year-old Parafield Gardens man who was the driver of the vehicle, a 22-year-old Enfield man and a 19-year-old woman from Renown Park were all charged with numerous offences, including illegal use of a motor vehicle, acts to endanger life and driving dangerously to evade police. So the 2 men were refused bail to appear in court later today. The woman was bailed to appear in court at a later date.
Police are investigating a suspicious car fire at Edwardstown early this morning. A white Toyota Hiace van parked in a side street near South Road was destroyed in the blaze. Police believe the fire was deliberately lit. South Australia is ready for liftoff with 3 test rockets approved for launch from the Whalers Way facility in Port Lincoln. The State Commission Assessment Panel has given Southern Launch the green light under strict conditions, including nearby residents be informed before a planned test launch. The 3 tests will be carried out by the end of the year. The much-anticipated meeting between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin happened in Geneva overnight and has been described by both presidents as constructive. Nine's Michael Genovese reports.
The 2 men sat face-to-face for 3 hours in Geneva in a bid to repair US-Russia relations. Joe Biden made demands around cybercrime.
I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period.
The 2 leaders released a joint statement promising to work together to avoid conflict and nuclear war. Vladimir Putin described a spark of trust between the 2 men, while Joe Biden said the meeting was strictly business.
Thousands of people across the country will swap their warm bed at home for a piece of cardboard tonight as they take part in the annual Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out, including 5AA's Katie Bridges. The annual event raises awareness and money for the fight against homelessness. Vinnie's Chief Executive, Jack de Groot, says we need to look at providing more affordable housing.
Housing prices have gone up. It's even worse for those who wish to rent. There's less than 1% of the available housing someone on a lower income could afford. So we have a desperate crisis where support of the CEO Sleep Out can make a real difference.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The AFL teams will be released for round 14 tonight, with Port Adelaide set to take on Gold Coast on Saturday at Metricon Stadium. The match will be Robbie Gray's 250th, and teammate Connor Rosie has told Rowie he's a much-loved figure.
The impact that he's had since he's come into the club, I think he's been All-Australian about 4 times, and not only that, but his influence off the field to young players coming in as a role model. He barely puts a foot wrong and has been massive for me.
And the tribunal case for Dave McKay will be heard tonight, with some experts arguing he should be suspended for up to a month, while others say he has no case to answer. Meantime, Geelong is working through the logistics on how members can book tickets to tomorrow night's blockbuster against the Bulldogs, after the state government allowed a crowd of up to 7,000 fans. To soccer, and Italy's incredible unbeaten streak has continued at the Euros. They've now gone 29 straight matches without a loss after a 3-0 drubbing of Switzerland. In other matches overnight, Russia had a 1-0 win against Finland, while Wales won against Turkey 2-0. Justice Hooney has shown why he's been touted as the next big thing in Australian boxing, recording a 10th round knockout win over former NRL star Paul Gallen. Roger Federer has been knocked out of the Halle Open in Germany after suffering a 3-set loss to Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime. Round 15 of the NRL gets underway tonight, with the Brisbane Broncos taking on South Sydney. And plenty of NBA playoff action again this morning, with Ben Simmons' Philadelphia 76ers taking on Atlanta, while Joe Ingles' Utah Jazz will come up against the LA Clippers. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles, now at Dave Potter.
At Burton, got a 2-car smash. That's at the Edinburgh and Heathslip Road intersection. Take some care on the Northern Expressway today. Got a few collisions there around the Munopara area. That's inbound and causing delays. Burst water main this morning at Hove, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. Roadworks this morning, Paraka, Montague Road from Bridge Road to Mawson Lakes Boulevard. Both directions down to 25 k's. And speed cameras today, Brighton Road at Seacliff, Eliza Place Panorama, and Marion Road at South Plimpton. At the Mazda Moment end of financial year sale, the moment to make it yours is now. Visit your Mazda dealer to arrange a test drive today. There isn't a moment to lose. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers for your Thursday and 16, showers tomorrow 15, Saturday partly cloudy 16 degrees. Right now it is 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, and even more so with their end of financial year sale on all certified cars. They currently have SA's largest selection of all makes and models, with a balance of factory warranty on selected models and free 3-year Steinborner certified warranty on SUVs and passenger cars. That's massive value at Steinborner Automotive with their end of financial year sale. Hurry, ends June 30. Steinborner Holden, well worth the trip for 37 years. Steinborner.com.au.
Now, this is a paid message from the Australian Society of Ophthalmologists. The US managed healthcare system has now landed in Australia, and it's arrived here via a joint venture between NIB and the American giant Cigna Health Corporation. US managed healthcare means the health insurer seeks to exert control over your care, including cost of treatment, extent of treatment, choice of doctors, choice of hospital, and more. Now, with our Australian system, you have a choice, but under US managed healthcare, you won't. It's that simple. So if you want to be able to choose, then let's send the eagle home. Let your local federal MP know that you say no to US managed healthcare here in Australia. For further information, visit sendtheeaglehome.com.au. Authorised by Kay Gallagher, Australian Society of Ophthalmologists.
You might think having thousands of pals is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think. Because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 100 gins, over 200 whiskies, over 300 craft beers, and over 2,000 boutique wines. But they're some of the best pals you could have, and they're always looking for more, even if they are tricky to track down. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
Some data has come out about the number of bronze whaler sightings in SA in the first 6 months of this year. They're up dramatically. 4.6 times as many compared to 2020, the year before. So far, total shark sightings this year at 138. 138.
I don't think that's disturbing at all. I think it's heartening. I think it's great that all the sharks are out there.
Now, as you know, we've all been fascinated by the G7 and trade deal, which sees us giving the Poms Tim Tams, and they'll give us penguin.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel good about that trade.
I don't think it's a fair swap.
No.
But anyway, then US President Joe Biden went on to his meeting with Vladimir Putin.
I think I'm going to try very much hard to, it is, and by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but
On behalf of Vladimir Putin,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'll have to give him 5 for trying.
What is Putin's grasp of English? Because if it's
It's going to be better than that.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
I feel bad when I lose my train of thought sometimes on the radio.
Yeah, it's a bad spot to do it in front of a live microphone.
It's never a good feeling. That said, I know it won't ever result in nuclear war.
We got a text along those lines from Rob saying, "So guys, we're worried about Trump having his finger on the nuclear button. I'd be worried about Joe Biden ordering a round of drinks." Bit harsh. Bit harsh. Part of the thing with Biden, in his qualified defence, is that he has had a lifelong stutter. And part of the way he talks, Tim Fischer, the great late leader of the National Party, Deputy PM, he had a stutter. And one of the tricks that he used, you know, when he used to talk about from Warrnambool to West Wyalong, from Galagabone to Tipperburra, this country, and he'd do these little tricks where he'd name country towns to give him a sort of syncopated form of words.
Right.
That was one of his tricks. So
Yeah.
part of it with Biden is that.
Part of it is that, but the problem with that argument, Biden's been in public life for a long, long time, and he was a wonderfully eloquent speaker when he was the vice president.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember watching.
He sounds doddery.
I remember being in 2008. We've been watching in a vice presidential debate, and he was against Sarah Palin at the time.
Yeah,
so
it
it was
took her apart.
a hell of a contrast. But he was just a wonderful wordsmith. He spoke. It had that deliberate tone, but it wasn't as doddery as that.
No,
that speaks of a pretty concerning deterioration, I think.
Yeah.
All right, let's go breaking at 8.
Well, we are hearing unconfirmed whispers, but very, very strong whispers, that one of Adelaide's most beloved pubs, a place that particularly for those of us who grew up on the south side of town, has played a big part in our lives over the years, is in the firing line as a result of the South Road upgrade. The remaining stretch from Darlington to the Torrens obviously brings with it a lot of very vexed planning questions, and undoubtedly the congestion that still exists, as anyone who's celebrated birthdays waiting to get past the Castle Plaza shopping centre stuck in traffic will know, is something that the city needs to fix so that we can have a seamless north-south corridor. Well, sadly, very sadly, it sounds like that is going to come with the cost of the demolition of the Tonsley Hotel. Now, for those of us who grew up in the 80s, you'll remember the old ad, "Come and have a good time." McMahon's, the disco, there at the Tonsley Hotel. I have a personal connection to this pub because when I was a Rotary Exchange student, the St Mary's Club used to hold all of its meetings there at the Tonsley. It was also one of the many family pubs that we'd go to as kids growing up in Mitchell Park, just behind where Marion High School used to be. Now, we understand that there's some wrangling going on. The pub is owned by the Hurley Group, and it's not the only pub that's in the frame. There was a story in the Tizer the other day focusing on the wonderful West Theberton Hotel, which is so close to South Road, it's hard to see how there could be any work done there without that pub being affected. But the fact that the Tonsley could go raises two questions, one of which will go to what sort of compensation will be provided. Secondly, whether there's a chance to find some other land around the sort of old Peter Van area where there's a lot of space now. Who knows whether there's something that can be done to keep the licence and shift it somewhere else. But the most important thing is, what does it mean for the staff? You know, there's a big suburban pub, employs 65 people, plus if the Tonsley goes, There's a whole stack of other businesses there. The old State Bank that was an archery shop for a while. There's a stack of businesses that are right there, cheek by jowl along South Road. So tremendous pity if a pub that has played such a big part in the lives of so many people in South Australia gets knocked down to make way for a road.
40 minutes after 8. We'll check traffic in a moment, but the best report we're going to get this morning is from you, certainly those in the northern suburbs. We know the Northern Connector and Heaslip Road have been disaster areas as a result of a host of crashes. If you're in the area, an update would be much appreciated. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395. In a moment, we'll speak with the CEO of St Vinny's, Louise Miller-Frost, about the CEO sleep out. Geez, they've picked a time of year to do it this year, haven't they? Oh. Sometimes the weather is merciful on the CEO sleep out. Sometimes it's cruel. It's much more in the latter category this time around.
I walked down yesterday after the show to have coffee with a mate, a politician mate, and when I was walking back through the wind tunnel that was Grenfell Street and turned back down here to go to the car park to get my car about 11:30, and there was a guy sleeping there under what looked like the world's flimsiest doona. I mean, it's like, you poor bugger.
Yeah, awful.
Just terrible.
It's 8:15. After 8:30, Julie Bishop will be on the program too. The former foreign minister has been Barbieified. So I don't know if that's the right turn of phrase, but I've never spoken to someone who's been celebrated in Barbie form before, but she has been. I don't mean a barbecue either. I mean the doll. So that's coming up after 8:30. Let's check traffic, big picture style, thanks to Dave Potter. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now.
At Burton, got a two-car smash. That's at the Edinburgh and Heaslip Road intersections. Andrews Farm, multi-vehicle crash at the Northern Expressway and Curtis Road intersections. They're cleaning that up. It's inbound and still causing delays, though. And Hove, got a burst water main, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. Busy for the drive in Parafield, Main North Road, Kesters Road to Kings Road outbound. And a couple of speed cameras today, Anzac Highway, Ashford and Beckman Street at Plimpton. The Telstra end of financial year sale is on now. Get great deals on phones, accessories and home internet, in-store or online. Hurry, sale ends June 30. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowies Sport Show.
Brodie Smith. D-Mac attacks the ball, a 50-50 ball. You're there, you saw it, you're a player. What is your feeling?
As you said, two guys, head over the footy, hands over the ball, trying to win the footies.
4 p.m. weekdays.
As an AFL player, do you think the tribunal in the game needs to cater for footy accidents?
Yes.
Because if they don't, it's going to be harder to play the game.
Yeah, and I'm a big advocate for looking after the head with the tackles and instances that we've seen this year.
Rowies Sport Show on 5AA.
End of financial year now on at Optus. Get huge savings and great deals on a wide range of Samsung phones. Hurry, ends June 30. T's and C's apply. Head into an Optus store today.
Adelaide Cabaret Festival is here, June 11 to 26 at Adelaide Festival Centre. Book your tickets now for a spectacular program directed by Hollywood star cabaret royalty Alan Cumming. Adelaide Cabaret Festival will thrill you with song, comedy, art, magic, trivia and all sorts of cabaret delights. Warm up your winter and experience the best cabaret talent from across the country. Your banquet awaits. Book now at adelaidecabaretfestival.com.au.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Building a fence, shed, retaining wall and so much more requires good quality steel. At Knorr Metals, we've got you covered no matter what you need. From the home handyman to structural engineer, we have steel supplies to suit what you're looking for. And if we don't, we'll source it for you quickly and at the best price. Plus, we can cut your steel on site to meet your exact measurements. No matter what you need, you'll get it at Knorr Metals, 255 Grand Junction Road, Ottaway.
For a limited time only, get up to a big $1,000 gift card at Harvey Norman when you buy on interest-free. That's right, up to a big $1,000 bonus gift card. Shop for furniture, bedding, electrical, technology and more. Buy on 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card up to a big $1,000. Minimum finance $1,000, 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees, exclusions apply. Limited time only. Now at Harvey Norman.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, and even more so with their end of financial year sale on all certified cars. They currently have SA's largest selection of all makes and models, with a balance of factory warranty on selected models and free 3-year Steinborner certified warranty on SUVs and passenger cars. That's massive value at Steinborner Automotive with their end of financial year sale. Hurry, ends June 30. Steinborner Holden, well worth the trip for 37 years. Steinborner.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 8. I'm just having a quick look at the weather forecast. So today the top is 16. But that's not the number I'd be concerned about if I was doing the Vinnie CEO sleep out. It's the 15 mils of rain, 6 to 15 mils on the way over the course of today, up to 5 tomorrow. So the feeling is it'll be hanging around overnight. Louise Miller-Frost is the CEO of Vinnie's. Do you have tarps, Louise?
Yeah, we do have tarps. Thank you so much for reminding me of 10 degrees.
Has it rained on you guys before? We've spoken plenty of times in the past, but it feels like it's been cool, but I'm not sure you've had conditions like this.
No, look, I think we've had light rain before, but I don't think we've had anything like this. So it's, it's going to be interesting.
How many people have you got doing it this year, Louise?
We've got 127, which I think is the most we've ever had. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, that's good. I was just saying before, I don't know if you heard, if you're on hold, but I was just walking through town yesterday, and at the moment, this unpleasant combination of not just being cold, but a lot of wind chill too, particularly in the city. And, you know, there's people around here, around Hindmarsh Square that you see in the back lane. And I know the government puts out these code blues when it gets really cold, urging everyone to, you know, get rounded up. But there's clearly people just still falling through the cracks for whatever reason.
Absolutely. And look, we are experiencing at the moment high levels of demand in all of our services across the state. So it's actually a bit of a crisis for us. We need to really be providing more. Code blue, code red is, you know, it's good, it's fine. It keeps people off the streets on those particular days, but it's not a solution to homelessness. And that's what we actually need, is those solutions to homelessness.
Well, the other thing, though, is to reach code blue, it seems to need to be spectacularly cold. Whereas on other nights, even if it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7, the idea of sleeping outside then's no walk in the park either.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it never is. And, you know, if you walk around the city, you'll often see people who are rough-sleeping, sleeping in the daytime. And there's a reason for that. It's warmer, it's safer. They feel that they can actually get some sleep. So at night, they're often moving around because they're trying to keep warm, they're trying to keep safe. It's not an easy life by any means.
How's the fundraising component going at the moment, Louise? Ballpark-wise, what do you typically get, and what are you aiming for this year?
Well, we've got 800,000 on our website as our target. We've actually ticked over 700,000 overnight, which is unbelievably exciting. We were one of the agencies that lost the government funding. So as of the 30th of June, we are losing $1.2 million, which goes to fund our men's shelter in Whitmore Square. So we're out there trying to fundraise quite hard at the moment.
So will you be able to keep the men's shelter open?
Look, we're looking at what our options are at the moment. We probably won't be able to provide exactly the same service we currently do, but we will continue to provide a service for men exiting homelessness, absolutely. We just need to work out how we can do that and how we can afford it.
So, which is an interesting point then in the context of the sleep out, because I imagine you would have usually raised money partly for that service, but for other things you can do, and I imagine this year then it's probably largely going to maintaining as much of that as you can.
Look, it's that. There's also our women's shelter in the northern suburbs, which is for women, children and pets exiting homelessness and domestic violence. We have the Fred's vans, 10 sites across the state that feed people who are either homeless or in poverty. So it's really a bit of a homelessness prevention thing. If we can give people groceries, if we can give them meals, they can afford to pay their rent. We also do Vinnie's Assistance, which is about direct financial assistance to people. So we pay their bills so their electricity doesn't get cut off, or, we'll pay for the kids to have clothes or for them to have groceries. We'll give them vouchers. So the money that we fundraise goes directly to people who are in need. And part of that is because we've got about 3,000 odd volunteers. So we are a largely volunteer-run organisation across the state.
Yeah, we were troubled by aspects of the new funding arrangements for homeless services in this city. So if there's any more coverage that is required on that, just sing out. But for now, Louise, stay warm tonight. Well done to everyone who's participating. And if you're hit up by someone you know through your workplace, your boss, who's doing it, dig as deep as you can to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Louise Miller-Frost, the CEO of Vinnie's. Remarkable. They're going to raise, it sounds like they're going to hit that $800,000 mark, which is just sensational. It's a fantastic sum of money.
I tell you what, the breaking at 8, Will, it's caused a very alarmed response from a particularly excellent group of women, the Blackwood Booze Hags. Sue, who's a member, I'm not entirely sure what sport they play. Maybe they don't play sport. Maybe they're just booze hags. But they're called the Blackwood Booze Hags. And they meet. Sue has sent us a wonderful photograph of the nice green polo shirts that they've got made up with their Blackwood Booze Hags logo on the front, and on the back, Tonsley Hotel, the Tonsley Hotel signage.
No, it's the Blackwood Hockey Club.
Blackwood Hockey Club. Oh, you'd know that with your hockey connections.
Yeah, Blackwood Hockey Club.
Is that what they call the Booze Hags?
What? No, well, maybe this team, they've made their own T-shirts. I don't know. But that's that's the symbol on the front.
Is it true hockey women have a reputation for going pretty hard?
I'm married to one, so I won't say anything.
I'm taking that as a yes.
I reckon it's the most violent and vicious sport I've ever seen.
And with a bit of letting down of the hair after the game?
Yeah, I think that comes... Well, you need to lubricate and medicate appropriately for the various bruises and breaks and bones and things as a result of it.
It's such a dangerous sport, hockey, isn't it?
I've watched a lot of sport.
Mental.
I like a sport. It's the only time I've been live. It's the only reason I can tell you what it sounds like when someone's skull pops or breaks.
Please.
Because it happened in a game I watched.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
That sound will live with me.
Swinging those sticks around.
Oh, my God. The amount of...
Dentists would like hockey.
Oh, well, they wear mouth guards, so they...
Yeah, but that's not going to stop a full, 180-degree swing with a piece of timber hitting you in the gob, is it?
I didn't know how much a body could bruise. My wife would come home and just length of her leg from, knee to thigh would just be black.
You want a coldie at the Tonsley after that.
Oh, my goodness.
But I mentioned that because firstly, because Sue will have the text, but, it's the thing about pubs, all their unsung work, propping up community sport and so on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
26 after 8. Let's do Fuel Watch thanks to Dave Potter. The highest you'll find at $1.29 in Blackwood. Oh, man, it's just not a good day for Blackwood, is it? The hockey club lost their home base and petrol's as expensive as anywhere. The cheapest you'll find it, $1.09 at the OTR on Grand Junction Road at the Big Jeps Cross intersection. $1.09.
That is cheap.
Oh, that's as cheap as we've had it for a while. $1.24 at Taparoo, $1.19 in Greenacres up North East Road, $1.25 at Glenelg East, and $1.26 on Greenhill Road at Glenside.
As Australia recovers from COVID-19, Australian Mining is still backing small business. Find out more at minerals.org.au. There's more to Australian mining.
The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate work vehicle. Built tough with advanced tech to get the job done. Speak to your local Nissan fleet experts today about tailoring a vehicle solution for your business needs.
Your local Mitre 10 has all the gear you need to top up your toolbox with their great Tax Time Tool Blitz catalogue on sale now until June 30.
You can do some tools, Will, couldn't you? You got many tools at your house?
Oh, I've got some, but I just don't know what any of them do.
You got a hammer.
Yeah,
so
I think it is.
Just use that for whacking stuff.
It means I need nails, doesn't it?
That's right. Yes, it's the one with the round bit on one end and the claw on the other. Now, look, if you're a tradie, or if you're anyone, but particularly if you're a tradie, now is definitely the time to buy, with tax time just around the corner. How's this? A whole bunch of great stuff at Mitre 10. The Karsha K3 pressure washer and the WD3 vacuum combo for just $329. That's good. I got one of those vacuum things for cleaning the windows. Now, this includes the 1700-watt washer, 1400-watt wet and dry vacuum with a 17-litre tank. Then there is the Makita two-piece 18-volt brushless combo kit, just $399. Includes a hammer drill driver, an impact driver, 2 batteries, a charger, and a fashionable tote bag.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. How about a Kelso 100-litre tradesman wheelbarrow for just $169? That's a bargain. Check out the Mitre 10 Tax Time Tool Blitz catalogue out now. That's just fun to say. Mitre 10 Tax Time Tool Blitz.
Mitre 10 out of 10.
Every time.
Every time.
Shop in-store online. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. Western Hospital is proud to offer accessible and relevant healthcare services to our community. We have a 24-hour intensive care unit that is available to patients of the hospital. It has been recently licensed as a Level 2 ICU, ensuring we can manage and treat more dependent patients. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. For a full list of doctors who visit and consult at Western Hospital, call 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
Need a holiday? With Qantas Holidays, you can book your flights and hotel in one easy package and enjoy exclusive savings. Take a break in Brizzy, go sightseeing in Sydney, or discover the delights of Darwin. It's time to hit the city with our great deals. You'll earn 3 Qantas points per dollar spent on your booking, or you can use your points to book. Search Qantas Holidays and holiday here this year. You must be a Qantas frequent flyer member to earn and use points. A joint fee and conditions apply. Check the latest government restrictions before travel.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
It's a sad day for workers at the West End Brewery, with production winding up today after more than 160 years. Brewing company Lion made the decision last year to close the Theberton plant, blaming a combination of declining beer sales, changing tastes and mounting costs. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas says it's the end of an era.
It's not just an iconic beer for our state, it's a brand that our state has an identity with. And I'll certainly be having a red tin, probably on the weekend after a game of footy, because it's part of who we are. And it is a sad day, but we think of those workers and their families as they make those rasp frothies and wish them all the very best into the future.
3 people have been arrested after a stolen BMW was pursued through the metro area in the early hours of this morning. Senior Constable Matt Brown says it was spotted by patrols on Lavender Drive at Parafield Gardens shortly before 1 a.m.
The BMW sped off from police, who requested the police helicopter to track the vehicle from above. The stolen car headed north on the wrong side of Martins Road before moving to the Northern Expressway and continued to travel throughout the northern suburbs at excessive speed before it headed towards the CBD and rammed a police car on North East Road at Walkerville near a service station.
The car headed west with road spikes deployed at Regency Park. It eventually stopped at Angle Park and all 3 occupants were arrested. A 23-year-old Parafield Gardens man, 22-year-old Enfield man and 19-year-old woman from Renown Park have been charged. More COVID vaccination sites are coming online in SA. It's hoped the AstraZeneca shot will be available to the over 50s via regional and remote pharmacies within weeks. That could then be extended to chemists in the metro area. SA Health wants 80% of the adult population inoculated by October. An Adelaide school is the latest victim of the COVID pandemic. Eynesbury Senior College will close its doors at the end of 2021 amid financial struggles from a lack of international students. 149 students and 31 staff will need to relocate. The South Australian business community has slammed a decision to increase the national minimum wage. The Fair Work Commission has lifted it to $20.33 an hour. Business SA's Martin Hazy says it's a dangerous decision, given the uncertainties associated with our economic recovery.
At a time where many business people would be very much of the sentiment that we're not out of the woods yet, we would say this is pretty onerous if you're running a business and you're employing people to have a 2.5% wages increase plus a 0.5% increase in superannuation.
The US president is confident the last thing his Russian counterpart wants is a Cold War. The two leaders have held a summit in Geneva, their first face-to-face meeting. Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin discussed a range of issues including trade, nuclear stability and regional conflicts. Mr Biden says the two found some common ground.
I don't think he's looking for a Cold War with the United States. I don't think it's about as I said to him, I said, your generation and mine are about 10 years apart. This is not a kumbaya moment, as they used to say back in the 60s in the United States, like, let's hug and love each other. But it's clearly not in anybody's interest.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Round 14 is almost upon us, Tom Wren.
It certainly is, and there's much interest in what the Power will do for their match against Gold Coast. The teams to come out tonight, Mel. The Crows have the bye this weekend, but everyone in the AFL world is waiting to see what happens when Dave McKay fronts the tribunal for a collision with St Kilda's Hunter Clark. Seb Ross has explained his decision, meantime, to return home and miss the Saints' crunch match with the Crows. Nine's Kiara Parker reports.
After his commitment was questioned, the Saints leader took to Instagram last night to clear up the situation, saying he was torn between his club and family obligations. He and Tim Membry, who returned home for family reasons, were criticised for missing the Crows clash with finals on the line. Seb Ross says it's been an unnecessary distraction. He had hoped to rejoin teammates in time to play and admits he knew it was a risk returning to Victoria with fixturing up in the air due to border restrictions, but chose to support his wife, who recently had twins. Ross, who has thanked coach Brett Ratton for supporting his decision, says he's committed to St Kilda and is proud to represent the club.
To swimming now, Emma McKeown has beaten home Kate Campbell in the final of the 100-metre freestyle last night at the Olympic swimming trials here in Adelaide. Campbell's second place means she'll head to the Olympics for a fourth time. Mitch Larkin took out the 200-metre individual medley. And champion jockey Frankie Dettori has ridden his 75th career winner at Royal Ascot overnight as he guided Indy Angel to victory in the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles. Now at Dave Potter.
Good morning. Got a burst water main this morning at Hove, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road, causing a few delays. Getting busy on the drive in Medindi, Main North Road, Nottage Terrace to Robe Terrace City bound. Erbray Cross Road, Glen Osmond Road to Fullerton Road inbound, also quite busy. And some roadworks today. Tonsley South Road near Tonsley Road, both directions down to 40 k's. And at Vale Park, gas main replacements there. Ascot Avenue near North East Road, both directions down to 40 k's. Got a lane closed there as well. As Australia recovers from COVID-19, Australian mining is still backing small business. Find out more at minerals.org.au. There's more to Australian mining. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers on 16 today, showers tomorrow 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
It's Australia's best at New Spot Motors MG. Pick up the MG ZS Compact SUV from just $21,990 drive away. Yes, just $21,990 drive away with 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty. No wonder it was voted 2021 Drive Car of the Year for best overall value. Book your MG test drive today at New Spot Motors, Hampstead Gardens and Salisbury Park. New Spot Motors for MG. MG. Value since 1924. LVD 1743.
There she was, just walking down the street singing.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
She looked good, she looked fine, she looked good, she looked fine, and I nearly
23 minutes to 9. We have Behind Closed Doors coming up this half hour. Also, Jane Riley uncovering the hidden gems of South Australia's regional areas with our 5AA Regional Spotlight, all thanks to Auto Masters. It's time for that regional road trip. Get there and back safely. Call 1300 Auto Masters. Big thanks to everyone on the 5AA Facebook live feed this morning that's pointed out us wearing matching colours. I think we've said this before. The moment you reach a point where you do radio together for long enough that your outfits begin to synchronise.
I know. We're both wearing a green jumper, except mine's a hoodie, yours is a jumper.
That's
it's
right.
exactly the same colour.
We haven't
quite embarrassing.
synchronised styles yet, but certainly colours at this point in time.
This is one of the reasons, Will, that you and I are never going to be immortalised in doll-like form, because we are sartorially challenged.
Oh, yes, you're right. We're never going to get a Barbie.
Hiya, Barbie. Hi, Ken. You want to go for a ride? Sure, Ken. Jump in.
We've got a new Barbie girl in Australia, as it turns out. Our second, Ida Buttrose, was the first to be immortalised as a Barbie. I assume you're immortalised as a Barbie.
You are.
I suspect they don't break down over the course.
They'll last forever.
They're exactly right. They certainly do.
Last.
The first Barbie was back in 1959. Have a listen to this.
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel my Barbie doll is really real.
1959, the first Barbie. That was in the US. They came to Australia in 64. Ever since then, we've had astronaut Barbie, surgeon Barbie, gold medal Barbie. We have CEO Barbie, pilot Barbie, police officer Barbie, firefighter Barbie. In Australia, we got Ida Buttrose Barbie in 2019. And now, I'm not sure if it's Foreign Minister Barbie or Julie Bishop Barbie, but they're one and the same.
Adelaide Barbie.
Originally
Barbie. Adelaide Barbie.
Exactly right.
Cherry Gardens Barbie.
I think they'll do some local advertising on that. Don't worry about that. I can't work out the turn of phrase, but the recently Barbieized Julie Bishop on 5AA Breakfast. Julie Bishop, good morning to you.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. Yes, I'm absolutely thrilled to be the official role model for Barbie for 2021.
Now, look, this is not being trivial at all, Julie, because your career was and continues to be characterised by, a lot of massive achievements. Foreign Minister, Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party for many years. You're now the Chancellor at ANU. Can I ask, though, is there a sort of knee-jerk cynicism or suspicion about Barbies that they are about trivialising the work of women?
No, in fact, the campaign that I'm supporting is Close the Dream Gap, and it's about inspiring young girls to be their best selves, to aim high, to dream that they can be anything that they set their mind to. And that very much aligns with the work I'm doing in seeking to empower women and girls. I've recently been appointed by Boris Johnson to the Gender Equality Advisory Council for the G7, which is about inspiring young women to set standards, work hard and achieve them. So there's a very serious purpose behind it. But of course, using toys or using a doll is, I think, a rather clever way of engaging young girls to think beyond perhaps their circumstances and dream of achieving something. And for many years, Barbie has been a first. We had a Barbie running for president before Hillary Clinton actually ran for president. We had a Barbie as an astronaut before women were actually in space. And so they have been promoting this idea of striving and using powerful women as role models for a number of years now, and they're committed to shining a light on role models past and present.
It's interesting, if you look back over the history of Barbie, you can almost track the history of the perception of women in the workplace. So in the 60s, you had the first career Barbies were fashion editor, registered nurse, flight attendant, and executive career girl. And now we've got it today, you modelling for a Barbie as former foreign minister and an exceptional professional here in Australia. Did you have any input into it, or do they? I mean, what do they do? Do they measure you up?
Absolutely, I did. No, they approached me. Mattel, which is the global toy maker of Barbie, approached me and asked if I would be the role model for 2021, and I agreed because I have had Barbies all my life. In fact, when you mentioned the evolving nature of Barbies, my first Barbie was back in the early 60s, and it was a Jackie Kennedy Barbie. She was depicting the First Lady of the United States, and it was a beautiful little doll, and I still have it to this day. So of all the moves I've made from state to state and house to house, Barbies come with me. So if you've got a Barbie, they can be very dear to your heart. Anyway, I was involved in the detailed design. According to Mattel, it took about 100, 120 hours of design work because it's very, very detailed down to the eye expressions, the hair, the accessories, she's holding a little Australian diplomatic passport and dragging along some carry-on luggage, which is an exact replica. And, of course, she's wearing the red shoes that I wore on the day that I resigned as Foreign Minister, and the same outfit. So I was very much involved in the design. But when it did arrive from the United States and it came in a beautiful parcel and I opened it up, it was like Christmas Day 1964 all over again.
I mean, you got a reputation, and deservedly so, Julie, for always being immaculately turned out. So it's based exactly on one of your own outfits, one that you wore?
Based precisely on what I wore the day I resigned.
Yeah.
And I've got it down to the same navy dress and jacket, the same shoes, the same earrings and brooch. It's quite extraordinary, the attention to detail. But I think the point is that they wanted to portray Barbie as strong, as independent, as powerful. And so from that point of view, encouraging little girls to imagine that they can be anything and actually seeing that they can be is quite incredible. And so I'm happy to support the campaign.
Can I ask you, Julie, when you left politics, the day after, we had your wonderful sister, Mary Lou, on the program, and she said that she was happy for you, that you hadn't thrown your hat in the ring to become the next leader, and at that stage would have become, if you got the numbers, the Prime Minister of Australia after Malcolm Turnbull got the chop. Do you ever look back and wish that you had a crack at being the Prime Minister?
Well, I did. As a matter of fact, I did contest the leadership. You might recall that Malcolm had survived a leadership challenge earlier in the week, but the detractors weren't satisfied with that, and they were agitating for another leadership challenge. As deputy, I'd been elected by the party room as deputy, so I would never challenge a sitting leader. But then at the last minute, Malcolm decided that he would not contest it, and so I then had to decide whether I would stand again as deputy to my fifth leader or whether I would throw my hat in the ring. And I decided to give the party room an option, and I was the most experienced. I've been there for 20 years. I've been a cabinet minister for many, many years, including as 5 years as Foreign Minister and, of course, 11 years as the deputy. So I think it would have been odd if I hadn't put my name forward. But, of course, it was so late in the piece that the other two had been campaigning for a considerable amount of time, and most people in the party room had already committed their vote to either Scott Morrison or Peter Dutton. But I don't regret for a moment standing, because I'm the only woman to have ever contested a Liberal Party leadership in its 70, 80-year history. And, of course, I decided when I didn't win, of course. I only got 11 votes, and one of them was mine. And the other vote was Malcolm's, so that comes down to 9. And I thank those 9 people who did vote for me, but it obviously wasn't enough to win the leadership battle. And so I then decided that I would move on. I think leave the new team, the new government, and not be sitting there as a failed contender. And I thought it was best for the party and for me to move on. I think what Mary Lou was reflecting is the fact that politics can be all-consuming, and for the family, it's hard to sit by and watch the amount of effort and energy and emotional and personal toll that is put into it and that it can take on you. And I think she was reflecting what many family members of politicians would be thinking. Come back to the private sector, come back to the family and live a normal life.
Yeah, totally.
And quite excitingly, you got to be the Foreign Minister back when we could go overseas. So that was tremendous as well.
Oh, indeed. Could you imagine being Foreign Minister in the middle of a global pandemic?
Oh.
It is a very, very challenging time for everyone. And, of course, it's still continuing to this day. What is it now? About 170 million cases and 3.5 million deaths around the world. We're so lucky to have escaped the worst ravages of COVID here in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you managed to get back to Adelaide at all since you left politics?
Yes, of course, 2019 was a very busy year. I was travelling all over the world still as Chancellor of ANU, and in the other roles I have, I'm a fellow at Harvard Kennedy School. I'm a Kissinger Fellow at the McCain Institute. Both institutes are in the United States. But then 2020, COVID hit, and I was grounded in Perth. For the first time in living memory, I didn't travel anywhere. But my first overseas, I haven't been overseas. My first interstate trip was home to Adelaide for Christmas, and that was a joy. So I've been to Adelaide a number of times since.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Julie, we've loved having you on.
Yeah, great to speak to you.
Good on you. It's fascinating hearing that whole Barbie history. And, it's you've come up extremely well in figurine form. Thanks for joining us this morning,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Former Foreign Minister Julie Bishop. It is
Super
great.
impressive
Lovely
woman.
text from CJ in Bowden on the Telstra Storm Barker text line saying, what a great role model for Barbie. My firstborn was a girl. I used to collect Star Wars figures, so I started a Barbie collection for her when she was born. She's now 14, has about 50 Barbies still unopened in their box. They'd probably be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars one day.
Yeah, they would
The way these things go.
Absolutely.
And you can add the Julie Bishop to the collection. 12 to 9, let's check traffic thanks to Dave Potter. Get executive and end of financial year deals right now. Just check them out, Dave Potter Honda on Brighton Road.
Got a burst water main this morning at Hove, Brighton Road near Dunrobin Road. Getting busy this morning, Medindi, Main North Road, Nottage Terrace to Robe Terrace, that's city bound. Also busy at Urbray, Cross Road, Glen Osmond Road to Fullerton Road inbound, and Hawthorne, Grange Road, Goodwood Road to Belair Road. That's as you're heading towards Mitcham. Look out for roadworks today at Paradise, Darley Road near Lower North East Road, both directions down to 40 k's. And speed cameras today, Raglan Avenue, Edwardstown, Marion Road, South Plimpton, and Trimmer Parade at Findon. New COVID-19 vaccination clinics are now open at Wayville, North Adelaide, Noarlunga and Elizabeth. Book now if you're eligible at covidvaccine.sa.gov.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mum, I'm bored. Are we there yet?
Mate, we've only been in the car for 20 minutes. And look, here's West Beach Parks.
Did you pack the marshmallows?
You bet.
Don't spend your entire break driving. Enjoy a short winter break at West Beach Parks. Glamp, camp or cabin in style. Affordable, relaxing fun for everyone. West Beach Parks. Come to life this winter.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at leading chemists and health food stores nationwide. Ask for Arbor Vitae at your favourite pharmacy.
Arbor Vitae.
It's almost here. The early bird deadline for the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight tomorrow.
That is right. When you buy your tickets now, you could win an incredible Porsche Taycan Turbo or choose $300,000 cash to spend however you like.
Plus, your tickets stay in more than 15,000 draws, including the fully furnished grand prize home on the Esplanade at South Brighton with $1 million cash.
$1 million.
There's also luxury vehicles, incredible getaways, and thousands more to be won.
Best of all, though, when you purchase tickets, you're joining the fight with the Hospital Research Foundation to find cures, improve treatments and deliver better health care at hospitals and in the community.
Don't miss the early bird deadline, midnight tomorrow. Get your tickets from homelottery.com.au.
Gauchos. It's the iconic Argentinian restaurant that's been serving up Adelaide's best steaks for 30 years. Back when COVID hit, the Gauchos team had a ton of premium aged beef on hand, so they thought, why not let South Aussies nail the top secret Gaucho steak recipe from their very own home? So, the Gauchos at Home Premium Age range and the 1647 range was created. You can now find your succulent T-bones, lean fillets, porterhouse, ribeye and Scotch fillet at all Foodlands.
So you've got a will. That's good. But do you know where it is? Or when it was updated last? Have your circumstances changed? An old or poorly thought out will can leave problems for your family and those you love. And it can be expensive to sort out. Don't let that be your legacy. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, you can trust Donlan Lawyers to help carry out your wishes. Wills and estate planning? Visit donlanlawyers.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 to 9, thanks to Automasters, our major sponsor for the 5AA Regional Spotlight. Jane Riley's been heading all over the state to wonderful places. If you're heading off for a regional road trip, get there back safely. Call 1300 Automasters. Today, she's off to chat with Knowles Island Star Caravan and Big Four Blanchetown Riverside holiday park.
Noel's Caravans.
We
Noel's
met Noel.
Caravans.
We went in Noel's caravan.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How about that?
Yeah, I love that jingle.
It's
Noel's
exceptional.
Caravans. Noel's Caravans. It's got that nice sort of calypso quality, hasn't it?
It certainly does. We've got 4 nights accommodation for 2 in a standard cabin at the Big 4 Blanchetown Riverside Holiday Park.
Love the Big 4.
All you need to do is be the first caller through right now on 8223 0000.
This time we're heading to Blanchetown in the Riverland to chat with Noel Faggoter from Noel's Island Star Caravans and the Big 4 Blanchetown Caravan Park. G'day, Noel. And look, what a great holiday combination you've got there, caravans and the River Murray.
Yeah, no, I love it. I've had the little park for 35 years and it's been a real great little place for me to escape to, you know, over the years, you know. It's been bloody terrific. Right on the waterfront with pontoons to fish off of or the kids to just jump off and into the river. It's great watching families enjoy themselves there, you know. Yeah, beautiful.
You've got a barbecue area, you've got the private beach, and you've got all that activity that happens on the river, like those heritage riverboats that pass through. That must be amazing when they go past.
On the Tuesday night, we get the both big ones, you know, the Proud Mary and the Princess go by. It's a good thing to come and see, and it's really great.
And look, it's literally an hour and a half drive from the city.
It is, that's all it is. It's an hour and a half on the freeway. Really, it's a totally different part of the world, you know. Like the winter time up in the Riverland, just beautiful sunshine days. One of our winter specials is 4 nights for $99. A lot of people get on that deal, 4 nights. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and, you know, at less than $25 a night,
Yeah.
it's very cheap. You know? And
That's for a powered site?
that's for a powered site for 2 people, and then you've got 4 nights in a cabin for $299.
Fantastic. Winter time, so beautiful up there in the River Murray. So Noel, giving some people some great ideas of how to get away and have some fun experiences within our own state.
Correct.
Lovely talking to you, Noel.
You too, Jane.
She's off to Kangaroo Island tomorrow, Jane, for the regional spotlight. Looking forward to that. Congrats to Kelly. You've won 4 nights accommodation for 2 at the Big 4 Blanchetown Riverside Holiday Park. Noel's Island Star Caravans and Big 4 Blanchetown Riverside Holiday Park. The perfect combo for your SA holiday.
So, Will, if you were an action figure,
Yes.
what would you have? What would be, because Julie Bishop's got the...
I
would
would-
you be an inaction
I'd
figure?
be an inaction figure.
You'd have a remote control in one hand and maybe a basketball in the other.
Well, I'd be watching the basketball.
Well, that's true. Maybe a takeaway food menu on the other hand.
It'd be Sport Fan Barbie.
Sport Fan Barbie.
Yeah, and
Ken. You'd be Ken.
Well, I wouldn't have quite Ken's figure, and it'd be.
Don't sell yourself short.
I would be.
You go jogging.
You know.
I reckon I'd be holding a taco in one hand and a
Yeah.
spade in the other.
Yeah, I don't think they're not contacting us anytime soon. Let's be honest.
I mean, this is clearly what we're angling for.
Yeah,
Call
well,
from
good
Mattel.
ideas. You know, sloths need role models too. That's right. Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 1330 64. They bring us behind closed doors.
And when we get behind closed
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is Leon Biner.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. A lot to get to this morning. We don't want to skim over anything because, let's face it, if you skim the milk, there's no fat left to get your teeth into. Keep in mind that we do welcome your calls on any subject at all. You can say whatever you like, as long as it's not before the courts. But there's no censorship here. Let's say hi to Gary. Hi, Gary.
Oh, g'day, Leon. It was on the good ship Venus. By Christ, you should have seen this. The figurehead was a whore in bed and the mast was a giant
Look, I can't let you say that. But look, we do welcome your calls on any subject, and you can say whatever you like, unless, of course, it's before the courts or a dirty poem. But there's no censorship here. Let's talk to Mary. Hello, Mary.
Oh, hi, Leon. I reckon Stephen Marshall is a complete
No, look, I can't let you say that, but do ring us on any subject and we'll do the censorship on a case-by-case basis. Look, the other thing I want to say is that if you are a politician, and we do have them on quite a lot, if you are a politician and you come on the program, just bear in mind that just because you say good morning to my listeners, it doesn't mean you'll get any extra votes out of it. So don't bother with that, all right? Shadow Health Minister Chris Picton's called in. Good morning, Chris.
Well, good morning, Leon and your listeners.
Oh, look, what have I just finished saying? People will not hate you if you just say good morning. You don't have to say good morning to your listeners. People aren't going to vote for you just because you said good morning to them. Well, Your boss has called in, the leader of the opposition, Peter Malinauskas. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Leon, and good morning to your listeners.
Oh, for God's sake. Is this what they teach you at politician school? Well, I know more about broadcasting than you do, and believe me, that won't endear you to the people. They'll just think you're a crawler. Let's get some balance and talk to SA Best's MLC, Connie Benares. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Leon, and good morning to your listeners.
No. This is getting out of hand. But why doesn't someone take you people aside and tell you that saying good morning to the listeners isn't going to get you anywhere? Now, Connie, I'm going to give you one more chance. I'll put you back on, but rest assured, saying good morning, Leon, and good morning to your listeners won't make people think you're a really nice person. And I know that might come as a surprise to you, Connie, but trust me on it. One more try, Connie. Good morning.
Leon, good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. This doesn't come as a surprise.
Get off.
It's one of Blakey's pet hates. All right.
I say it every morning.
You do, and I know he's pilloried you for it too.
Oh.
Now, do you know someone who would benefit from a Windows 10 PC laptop? Just let us know on the FIVEaa win page. You've got 25 words to tell us who should be awarded with one of these magnificent computers. And you might just get one. Leader Computers are a national PC manufacturer, the largest 100% PC brand in Australia. They're built all right here in Adelaide, which means you are supporting a local South Australian company, the local South Australian economy, and you get local service and support when you choose a leader. So whether it's a friend or a school or maybe a sporting club you want to nominate, get onto fiveaa.com.au and let us know. Google Leader Computers to find your closest leader reseller. We are out of time. Leon Biner is on the way, and we'll catch you tomorrow from 6.